in, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown. On the other side of the metaphorical glass and the literal control board, the man in charge of this and every radio program you've ever heard and enjoyed, whether it was for a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, or all time, the great one Lonzo ran it and everything else in the world. What up, Zoe?
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Yes, it does. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
it works perfectly for you.
It's been a fun week.
It has been a fun week. You're not wrong. It has been a fun week. I
almost wasn't here again this morning. I just had to be across the hall.
I'd have been real hurt by that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That I don't know why. Like, Wednesday, birthday, didn't bother me. I was like, it sucks. I don't like doing the show without Lonzo, but like, I got to run the board, whatever. Not today. We got good stuff on a Friday. Got to get down on Friday. We got good stuff lined up today. We got the NFL Combine going on. Physical activities started yesterday. We're going to get into that because it also leads to one of my favorite annual traditions, which is when teams start dropping taped answers to interview questions that they asked players in years gone by. And we got some good ones.
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
You want to taste the little lick right off the bat? You want to just get one right out of the bat?
Hey, you want to taste?
You want a little tasty taste?
A little taste
right out of the gate. Here is Jalen McMillan, defensive back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just to kind of set you for the mood that we're in today.
What do you do for fun? This may sound weird, but I like to go to the grocery store, and you know how they have those off-brand cereals that are like the weird kinds? I'll collect those, and I'll try those, and then I'll go to the grocery store and get, like, different potato chip flavors. For example, last week I had avocado vanilla, and it was disgusting, but, I mean...
Avocado vanilla potato chip?
Avocado vanilla, yeah, potato chip. I'll do that. Nah, it was terrible.
You do that by yourself?
Yeah, I'll do that by myself.
I can honestly say I've never heard anybody say, do that as a hobby.
You know? It's kind of weird.
If that guy's not a future star on the Upstate Pulse, I don't know who is. My man said, I go to the store.
Wow.
I buy the off-brand weird cereals. I buy the weirdly flavored potato chips, and I taste test them. They're like, you do that by yourself? He's like, yeah.
What position did he play again?
Jalen McMillan, I believe, he's a DB. And now you got me questioning myself.
Oh, no, I hope so. Because Kansas City's probably looking to pick one of those up, and we need that guy.
I mean, forget the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me, wide receiver, not DB. I knew that.
Oh, okay.
Forget the Kansas City Chiefs, bud. You need him as a permanent guest host on the Upstate Pulse. That's right up your alley on a Saturday night.
It for sure is.
Just grab a bag of avocado vanilla tater chips and unleash them on your friends.
I don't feel like that's a real thing. I'm not trying to question, but I how would that not have been on my radar yet?
Avocado vanilla potato chips. I need you to know I typed in avocado and the very first Google suggestion was vanilla potato chip, which means that this is a thing. Let's see. I am looking to see if I can find that. I see a bunch of recipes for making them. I don't see them like as a brand. There's apparently, let's see, Bunny's Bite makes potato chips. Apparently it's like some little local deal, and they have sweet potato chips with cilantro avocado as a flavor, which I'm going to tell you straight up, yep, all in.
Well, if you've ever looked around at any grocery store, you're going to find some little local stuff, and you're like, well, that's weird. Why? And it's usually someone who made it locally, and it's not a really big brand. That combination sounds pretty nasty, and you're right. I would love to try that.
So, you know, we talked about him earlier in the week. I'm a big Alton Brown guy, the celebrity chef, and it's because I am a gigantic nerd. And he explains, like, the science that goes into food. I also love to cook. I love to cook. I also love science. And this guy dives into the reason that foods are cooked, the way they're cooked, and how the flavors work together and all that. You know, this food's got this chemical, and you got the tannins and the wine over here and the this and the that. And he goes into all of that and explains why flavors and foods taste the way they do and interact the way they do, whatever. And very frequently he goes into like, okay, this tastes over here like, I don't know, avocado, and this tastes over here like, I don't know, vanilla. They shouldn't work, but when you combine them, they have this chemical whatever, and it makes them taste different, and it does work to the point that I'm now like, I'm pretty sure I'll try anything. I will go to town on an avocado vanilla potato chip just to see if my man Jalen McMillan is on to something here.
So if you are a prospective team looking to draft this guy and you find out that those chips don't exist, how would you feel about that?
I'm not going to accuse them of them not existing.
Well, we can't find them.
I agree, but that, again, like I just found, there's, as you pointed out, 1,000 local potato chip brands out there. I can't say that dude wasn't traveling an interstate and stopped at, Jim Bob's Cooter's gas station. That's not a good one. He's an NFL coach. At Billy Bob's gas station down on I-85 on the way up out of Georgia and found Mrs. Myrtle's potato chips, and they're spelled potato, at a gas station and gave them a run. I can't say that, although I don't know that they're selling avocado flavored chips at Jim Bob's
no, it's the vanilla. It's
station.
the avocado vanilla. That's the thing. Avocado chips I have heard of before, but the fact that you're putting vanilla,
avocado is like, avocado is one of the things that the olds make fun of the young ones with, right? Like the avocado toast joke. Oh, you could afford health insurance if you stop spending your money on avocado toast. Like that's the big boomer joke. The big boomer
I've
meme.
never heard that before. I just know that guac is made out of avocados.
It is.
And I'm a big fan of guac.
I like a guac. Cody Decker and I almost came to blows on this one tape. I like a guac. Cheese dip is infinitely superior to guac.
No.
A good queso with some chorizo, miles ahead of the best guac.
By the way, guac much healthier than cheese. And
I wasn't saying
yeah.
to extend life
Yeah.
and well-being. I'm saying if you give me an option and you give me some good queso fundido over here or the best guac ever over here, I am full throttle to the cheese.
And here's
dip.
the other thing. One thing about guac, if it sits out a little bit, it doesn't get that film over top of it like the cheese dip does. That weird film over the top of it. What even is that? Do you know what that is?
It's cheese.
The film that comes over top of it?
That's what cheese does.
Okay, all right.
You take it, you heat it back up, you grab your chip,
gross.
you just stir it around, and it just melts back in.
And you don't wonder about that film, where it came from, and
cheese.
the fact that you're about to eat it. You don't have to worry about that with guac.
Different things interact differently over extended period times with oxygen and with hydration in the air. That's what cheese does.
All right, two people.
That's why there's a tunnel right down the road, and what is it, down by Seneca or whatever, that they used to take blue cheese and just shove it in a tunnel because the blue cheese to become blue cheese has to interact with moisture and oxygen in the air for X amount of time to become blue cheese.
Well,
it's just that.
That makes sense because Seneca's on the way to Clemson, and Clemson is an ag school.
Clemson was a big part of that, is my understanding.
But the other thing is, all right, two people within your circle have chosen guac over the cheese sauce. Again, you're on an island. When you think you speak for everybody, I'm just saying that most people are going to go with guac over the cheese dip.
You will find that in a situation like this, I'm very okay with being on an island.
Okay.
You know why? More cheese dip for me.
Well, that's true. That's a good point.
There's nothing that drives me crazier.
That's a very good point.
Than when we go out for Mexican and I get my queso fundido with the little chorizo in there, and I get it, and they bring it, and the waitress sits in front of me, and she says enjoy, and then everybody at the table all of a sudden is like, they got the eyes. They got the eyes like a hawk circling a mouse in a field.
The head movement is killing me, Dave.
They're all zoned in on my queso fundido, and I'm like, get your own. You had a chance. The waitress was right there. You could have got your own queso fundido, but now you're eyeing mine like a predator. Absolutely not. Get your own damn queso fundido. So if somebody goes, I don't want cheese dip, I prefer guac. Good. Now I don't have to fist fight you at the table. Good. I stand on business, Lonzo. I stand on business.
Okay, but by the way, does Steve know that you raided his closet?
I did
Well, it looks good, dude. I can't see your face, and I keep thinking it's Steve over there, but
I picked this one up last year for our whatever we did on the 4th of July. It's red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue, but also is like.
It looks like it's got like amoebas in it and stuff.
I said what I said. All right. You know what? You know what we haven't done in a while that I'm gonna do today.
I don't believe it.
I'm setting up a vote campaign. I'm setting up a vote campaign. It is going to be it's not starting for another 4 minutes. So hang on. Go ahead. Get yourself prepared. Get yourself ready for this. But I'm going to I need the voice of the Armada to speak collectively as one. Are we guac people or are we queso people?
All right. What do you think? Cole and Diesel. I'm going Diesel, guac guy, Cole, a cheese guy.
I actually agree with that. And not only do I agree with it, I think you nailed it. But I'm also going to go that not only is Diesel a guac guy and Cole is a queso guy, Diesel's the guy that's going to sit at the table and he's going to dress you down and judge you for going queso over guac and give you a whole lecture while you sit there and bang down some queso. I guarantee you that.
There's another reason why I think of that, because that immaculate beard does not want cheese in it. So I'm just saying, you're not going to drop the guac like you might drop the cheese. So.
I mean, as somebody who has a beard not anywhere near the glory.
Should you even mention that in the same sentence as his beard?
Not even near the glory and majesty of Diesel's beard, but as somebody who is a bearded one, queso is the type of food that gets me to tuck the napkin into the front of the shirt.
Oh no.
Because you rock something like this, you can't have it
That's
ruined
true.
by some queso.
That's true. It's hard to get queso out, probably.
Here's
you know
gonna
what's
be my
not
favorite
hard
thing.
to get out? Guac.
Yes, it leaves like an oily little spot on you. I'll eat guac, but I'll eat guac if and only if cheese dip's not available.
Guac will bounce off your shirt, whereas the cheese sauce is going to stick and drip, and you don't even know you did it till later on. You're like, oh my God, what is that? That looks like snot. I hope no one thinks that I, sneezed on my shirt.
Has that avocado oil in it, and that oil just latches chemically onto your shirt. We're both gonna have a spot there. I don't think you're better off with the guac than the queso. Here's going to be my favorite thing. My favorite thing is as this campaign, our Twitter vote goes live here in just a couple of minutes. It starts up at 6:15. So hold your text. Go ahead, pop it in 844-326-3663. Get yourself ready to go. Get yourself set up to text in your preference, queso or guac. Zoe, I am just going to say it right now, and this may make me sound like a terrible person. I'm really excited to see how many different ways guac and queso get spelled on the stream today. I'm going to say over under 6.5 for both.
As long as you can figure out what it is, that's all that matters.
No, it's not. It records the votes by queso or guac. I'm not
so
going
you're
back
saying
and
if
counting
it's
these.
misspelled,
it will
won't
not count. And I'm not.
Did you spell it correctly?
I absolutely did.
Okay.
Queso, queso, or guac, Guac, as in guacamole. I'm a queso guy. Zoe's a guac guy. So, in less than 60 seconds, I will tell you when to go. All right? In less than 60 seconds, we are going to begin our poll. I need the voice of the Armada to tell us. Are we queso guys or are we guac guys? And for the record, I use guys as a pejorative form. We're all the guys here. The boys.
As in, hey, you guys.
Everybody is a bro on the Rob Brown Show. Everybody's a bro on the show. All right, text line is open, 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. That is the number to call and be a part of the show. That is the number to text and be a part of the show. That is how you be a part of the show. 844-326-3663. I want you, before you do any other interaction with the radio program today, as of right now, are you a queso bro or are you a guac guy? Text queso, Queso, or guac, Guac. Queso or guac, text it to 844-326-3663. I want to know, by the end of the show, are we queso guys? Are we queso bros? Or are we guac guys? I will allow you to determine that. 844-326-3663. Shoot us a text right now, queso or guac. We are recording those votes. We'll let you know at the end of the show. We have got combine stuff to talk about today. We saw the boys hit the field yesterday to show off their athletic prowess. We will get into that. We got some baseball to talk, some basketball to talk, and I'm going to tell you right now, the sound roster is full today. We got a lot we need to talk about. 844-326-3663. Text queso or text guac. And when we come back, we've got some sound that we are going to get into right out of the gate. It's going to be worth it. Stick around. Rob Lonzo and you, The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
Would you think you bit it or something?
No. I'm thinking that arm looks like it would raise those monitors up a little bit. I wonder if even just during our show we raise it up like 6 inches.
So you want me to look like this at the screen?
Well, that was part of the considerations. That's why they just reach over there and do it.
Yeah, it's
Is that as high as you're comfortable with? It's okay if so. It's
Here's the thing. If you raise it up, I have to raise the chair up to Cole Bryson proportions. And my leg being up off the ground makes it hurt more.
okay.
So, I mean, for the show, I'll do it. But just to let you know that it will hurt me.
No, you don't need to be uncomfortable.
I'm already uncomfortable. That would be painful. I'm uncomfortable because it's always sticky in this room in the morning. It doesn't make sense.
Sticky?
You don't feel sticky? Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, starting the day off with a dub. Love to see it. Start the day off with a dub. And then immediately give it right back.
Here's the thing, Kane, addressing your guac take. I don't recall guac sticking around that long. I mean, it's gone. There's a one Mexican restaurant that we go to on occasion. My son goes there a bunch. They will come out with a tray, with a guac tray, and they will do the guac right in front of you. I mean, make the guac and mash it up and all that stuff.
That's a 1%er move right there, buddy.
It is.
That is a 1%er move.
So the guac is
Tableside guac.
as fresh as the guac. I mean, as the avocados are. So I mean,
That's the.
and if you want added a little something to it to make it a little more spicier, you tell her, she'll throw that in there, that type of
I
thing.
do like that. I do like that a lot.
When they're done, to put the single chip in it just for a garnish. And it's the big bowl. Those big bowls that looks is it a mortar, I think? Or is it
Yes,
pestle?
like a pestle and mortar.
Yeah, it's one of those bowls that you would mash up your apothecary stuff. I forget the name of it. It's in front of the Food Lion in Simpsonville.
Oh, we found it. You're not going to send it back? Cool. Turnover. Pushed it again.
Who?
Oh, no. It curved back. Who? No, we don't do that anymore.
Oh, we'll still do it. What are they going to do? Show up and beat us up? Do it in memory of
In memory of Big E.
yes.
Rip Big E.
Big E's wrestling career.
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob the Great Malonzo and you. 844-326-3663. Text queso or guac. Are you a queso bro? You a guac guy? Text queso or guac to 844-326-3663. That's our poll of the day. We're having a little fun on a Friday. Got to get down on Friday. All right. We got a bunch of stuff that we got to get to on the radio program throughout the show today. I wanted to get to, let's go with this. Yesterday we had Hating Ass Mario on the show. And we were talking NFL quarterbacks. We were talking about the different destinations, who's going to be the first quarterback to sign somewhere. And as we were going through the show, or through that interview with Hating Ass Mario, which you can find at thefanupstate.com. Go to the podcast section, drop it down to the Rob Brown Show, and listen on demand. We had Mario Herron from the BetMGM Network on with us yesterday at 9 a.m. It's in hour number 4 from yesterday's show. Go find it. It's a good interview. It always is. Well, as we were having that conversation, I said to Mario, a mysterious wild card hath appeared upon the horizon of the National Football League's quarterback carousel, and that mysterious wild card is one Thomas Alfred Wayne Christopher Nolan Brady, because he is now a minority owner for the Las Vegas Raiders. And the rumor was that Brady had coincidentally bumped into Matthew Stafford, the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, and as the story went yesterday, had invited Matthew Stafford to come up to his recreational lodge. I don't know if it's a hunting lodge or a skiing lodge or just a lodge.
It's a place where it's a video game place. It's a big nerd gamer place.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe my man bought some land out in the wilderness of Montana, and he gets online as like love to love you 69XXX for you, and he just smokes chumps at Madden in his lodge.
Wow,
I don't know what he does.
You just came up with that on the fly. It sounds like you knew that already.
Buddy, some of us survived Xbox and AIM back in the day and have traumatic memories locked up for them.
I don't picture Tom Brady as a hunter. I just don't. So it's got to be
The hobbies rich people get into, but
well, there's movies about that. I just don't want to go down that.
Tom Brady hunts people.
No,
That's a joke.
No,
It's a joke.
It's
Relax.
a joke.
It's a joke. So, Brady allegedly brought Matt Stafford up for a recruiting trip. Now, before we go down this path any further, yesterday, members of Brady's PR team refuted that, said that's not true, said that this was a report that is untrue, is false, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, I don't know or care, okay? I don't. I mean, I do care in that it would be tampering, as free agent negotiations do not begin for another week. So it would be tampering, and if Brady bought the team and then immediately started breaking NFL rules, it would be bad and kind of hilarious, to be honest with you.
Would be on par with Brady?
That's also not unfair.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, wow, tampering. Didn't see that. Well, yeah actually, I kind of did expect that.
What do we call it? Can't call it like Deflategate rhymed, had some rhyming scheme there. Tampering Gate doesn't have the same ring to it.
Tampergate.
Tampergate.
I mean, come on.
However, regardless of if it's true or not, I absolutely do believe that Tom Brady, why wouldn't he, is going to be actively involved in moving this roster forward for the Raiders. So I brought that up to Mario. I said, yo, look at this. We got Brady involved. This is a wild card that maybe we didn't really consider. We're all talking about Stafford and talking about Goff and talking about Sam Darnold, right? And here comes Tom Brady. And all of a sudden, he's going to kind of shake things up a little bit. Could the Raiders be a wild card? Could they take one of these quarterbacks off the board and kind of leave these other teams in chaos, right? We're wondering what the Vikings are going to do, what the Rams are going to do. We're worried about what what a bunch of teams in this little collective circle are going to do and how it all impacts each other. If the Raiders suddenly become a player in this discussion, could that kind of mess stuff up a little bit? And Mario said, That's a fair question, but for what? For what? If you bring in Matt Stafford, are you using him as a bridge guy? And if so, what's the goal? Is the goal to get to the playoffs? Do you think this roster is like good enough to get you there? And even if it does, do you think it's a Super Bowl roster out of the AFC? Do you think they're ready to go up against the Bills and the Ravens and the Chiefs? Like, no, right? So if you bring this guy in, and let's say Stafford shows up, he balls out, and the Raiders go from being a 4-win team to an 11-win team or a 10-win team, and they get into the playoffs, they're not winning a Super Bowl with this roster. They're not there yet. So what? I said that's a pretty good point. I gave Mario a point on that. Points. I gave him a point on that because my thought was not only are you not winning a Super Bowl with that roster, but you now are taking yourself further away from drafting your next franchise quarterback, right? You are obligating yourself to spend big money on a free agent quarterback, or you get a year, maybe two out of Matt Stafford, and then wango bango, you're right back to Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. And so even if you use that 2 years to build the rest of the roster, where are you going to go after that? It honestly, this is one of those times where, as much as fans don't want to hear it, I'm actually going to talk about this with Cody Decker tomorrow on Bet for the Cycle, due to 4 on the BetQL network. Sorry, BetMGM network. Make sure you tune in for that. I'm going to bring this up to him because making the playoffs next year would feel great for Raiders fans and would push, I think, success a couple more years down the road, right? Because if you go and you win in the playoffs, it takes you further away from draft the franchise quarterback spot, unless you just happen to get lucky and stumble upon one of those 4th, 5th, 6th round quarterbacks that kind of ultimately long-term breaks out and shocks you a little bit. But realistically, that's the exception, not the rule. That's why we celebrate when that happens. So, with that being said, I think it's actually better for the Raiders not to be involved with Matt Stafford, to actually run it back with Aiden O'Connell, to actually run it back with Gardner Minshew, with somebody bad. Because then you can use this year. It's still a bridge year, just a bad one. You use that time to kind of build up the roster. And that way, when you can get a franchise quarterback, probably through the draft, maybe through free agency down the line, you got a decent roster to build around him, right? Well, we had that conversation yesterday morning, and shortly after that, it came up on Odyssey's morning show, Maggie and Perloff. Here was their conversation.
The Raiders are desperate, all right? They have Tom Brady. They just hired a 73-year-old Pete Carroll. And I think the most important thing is to get back to respectability. They're drafting 6th, so you're leaving a lot to chance if you want Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. You can either mortgage all of your assets and try to get up in the draft, which might not even be a possibility, guys. So you're telling me that a 2-year bridge with Matthew Stafford to make the playoffs, I think, would probably be the goal, to get back to respectability. I'm telling you, the Raiders could do a lot worse.
I just don't understand, what the thinking would be. If everything goes right with Matthew Stafford, they're 9-8 next year. And then maybe the next year they improve, they're 10-7. And then they can never draft a quarterback. You're going to go back to the Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew style of QB? I have no idea, what the plan is. If you bring Matthew Stafford, he wants over $50 million.
Sure.
How there goes all your free agency money. What team do you have around him?
Well, I mean, this is all about...
And how do you get to... Actually, I was saying 9 wins. How do you get to 9 wins with that team?
Dude, it's a 4-win team. They are one of the dregs of the league right now.
Literally, the conversation we had. Literally, the conversation that Mario and I had yesterday. It's exactly the same logic. And I guess it's really kind of bad at me because, got to have unique, spicy takes up here working the morning show. That's the goal, right? Hot takes. I don't see where else you go with that. I don't see what else you turn that into. At the end of the day, if you go win with Matt Stafford next year, it accomplishes nothing for you long term. If you go win with Matt Stafford next year, all you're doing is taking yourself further away from your ability to draft a franchise quarterback in the future.
All right, so I don't get why Matt Stafford would want to go there. He spent all the time in Detroit, surrounded by a team that wasn't good enough to win. He went to the Rams, won a Super Bowl, and unfortunately has had to deal with a bunch of injuries, especially in his receiving core, which has cost him some games that if Puka and Cooper Kupp were there the entire time, I think they would have won more games for sure. Why would he go to the Raiders? I mean, you only go there if you want more money at the end of your career. You're not going there to win.
When you asked me that question, I started writing the answer down, Lonzo.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what you're saying is,
It's
okay,
money.
I got out of hell, which is, a place in Michigan, and left and went to LA and won a Super Bowl. Now I just want more money. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't seem like that guy. He doesn't. I mean, he might be, but he doesn't seem like that guy. Why go to the Raiders? The Raiders don't have anything cooking. They're in one of the hardest divisions in football that's improved every year and has the perennial AFC champ every single year in that division. Why would you go there? There's no way he goes there.
Because if they give him $55 million like he wants, and the Rams say, we'll give you $40 million and not a dollar more, there's 15 million reasons to go.
Why not go to Minnesota?
Because they may not pay. He wants my understanding of the situation.
So he doesn't
is,
want to win. He just wants money.
My understanding of the situation is he wants $50 million. That's what he wants. He just wants a $50 million contract, which, okay, like all the things you said are true. Won a Super Bowl, played through injuries, not only played through injuries, there weren't but a couple of teams that were competitive with Philly last year, and the Rams were one of them, right? So $50 million, he said, I got through all their injuries we had last year. We played half the season without Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp was banged up. Caleb Williams was banged up. We had all these injuries on the O-line, and yet I still had this team in the playoffs, still had this team feeling like they were they were quite literally the only team competitive with the Eagles in the playoffs, in the NFC playoffs this year, right? So he goes, I want 50 mil. The Rams go, no, we ain't doing it. If the Vikings, who, yes, that would be, if I was quarterback, that'd be my preferred destination. They almost got Sam Darnold a $100 million contract. The Vikings would be my pick as well. But if the Vikings go, yeah, we'll give you 42. We'll give you $2 million more than the Rams, but we're not giving you 50 plus. And then Thomas Brady sweeps in. And Tom Brady goes, I'll give you two things. Number one, I'll give you the $50+ million you're looking for. And number two, I'll mentor you myself about how to succeed later in your career. Because this is fun. Somebody pointed this out yesterday. If you cut Tom Brady's career down to just the last 10 years, just the last, not the first, the last 10 years of Brady's career, it's one of the 4 or 5 most successful NFL quarterback careers of all time. Just his last 10 years, right? So he could go to Matt Stafford and go, I'll get you the $55 million you want. I'll give you everything you ask me for as the QB. You'll be the GM, the pseudo GM of the Raiders, and I'll teach you about what I did to succeed later on in my career, to lengthen this career. Because we've all been talking about Stafford having, a year or two left in the career. The guy was damn good this year, right? So there's the spot that Brady could go, everything I learned about how to be a successful quarterback until I was 43 years of age, I will teach you all of that. There's an attractive package there if you're Matt Stafford. And if there's one thing we know on this show, it's attractive packages, right? All right, let's take a break. We got a lot we got to get to. Lonzo just caught up. Queso, guac. 844-326-3663. Text the show with your answer. You a queso bro or a guac guy? Text queso or text guac. I'm going to tell you right now, it's early in the morning. We just started the poll. Queso is way up on guac right now. We'll see if guac can catch up in turn two. The Rob Brown Show continues. The Fan Upstate.
Oh, that was me shaking my head because I can't believe you just said that. That's what it was.
It's we're probably getting closer to my annual "Hey, you need to calm down" speech.
It's been a crazy week. I wouldn't worry about it.
I was in, but it was going too fast and it jumped off the back. That's frustrating. That's just not in at all. Oh.
So, watching the combine yesterday, did you see the thing about Ian Rappaport? You didn't. You should look that up.
What was old Rappo doing?
Fisticuffs.
With who?
That's why you need to look it up.
Oh, God.
Here's one other member of our broadcast team we've got to bring in. And he is the Jake Paul of NFL Network. Lots of buzz. He's trending with no punches thrown. Ian Rappaport. Rashid?
Thank you, Rich. Yeah, I would say I'm
He looks a little under-caffeinated, actually, to be honest.
No, I'm properly caffeinated. A lot of great coffee brands. Dunkin' does a really nice job. It's actually a fantastic coffee. I could go on and on about the coffee brands that I love. That's not for right now. Let's talk right now about
They were making a big deal about it.
Jordan
on
Schultz
McAfee.
went off on NFL Media's Ian Rappaport, a Starbucks, over the Matt Stafford situation. Rappo was talking to an agent when Schultz approached him and said, we need to talk. Rappo said, we don't need to talk. Schultz said, if you have anything to say to me, say it to my bleeping face. If this continues, we're going to have a bleeping problem. Rappo then called NFL security, who is currently, Rappo, that's a soft move, bud.
No, that's
Unless there was like more harassment that led up to a face-to-face meeting.
Listen, the way you say that the other guy said it sound pretty angry, and that's the move to make. That's the adult move to make, is what that is. You can call it soft, but it's the adult move to make. If someone is angry and out of sorts and look like they might be violent, call security.
There's a difference between might be violent and is in your face going, if you're going to say something, say it to me.
The move to make, and I'm surprised you didn't say this, Mr. I've never been in a fight. The move to make is to take advantage and call security.
No, just tell him to off and go about your day.
I mean, no, because if he's in your face, if you say that, then he's going to throw a punch. So if you're willing to fight, fine. But if fighting is unnecessary and you can take care of the situation and punk the guy out who's trying to punk you out by just having him removed, you just have him removed. If he wants to fight you really bad, he's waiting in the streets for you. And then that just proves your point. Plus, so Ian Rappaport looks like he's going to win a fight. I don't know what.
No, but let's not pretend Jordan Schultz is like a
I don't know
dog.
what he looks like. I'm going to have to look him up.
Like a younger Ian Rappaport. Neither one of these guys is guys that if I see him in the bar, I'm afraid of, you know?
It's not like what's his name from CBS, the guy who trains MMA.
Yeah, Glazer.
If Glazer's in your face, you
Glazer's
should be
in your face,
scared.
I'll call NFL security.
Yeah.
But I also get the impression that, like, if Jay Glazer's in your face, you definitely messed up.
Probably, because he doesn't, he's not going to react that way.
He's a big on, like, kindness and compassionate, like, I'll kick your ass if I need to, but I don't want to kind of guy. Okay, so we have NFL Media Day drama going down at the Combine. I was going to sit here and give you some of the results from yesterday's test about guys that perhaps the Cats might be involved with when draft day rolls around here in, 57 days from today? But apparently, we've got some, I don't know if either one of these guys raps, but if they do, Lonzo, they got a slot at the halftime show at the Super Bowl next year. Apparently, Ian Rappaport from the NFL and Jordan Schultz of Fox got into it at a Starbucks yesterday. Now, let me tell you what happened, and then we'll get into it a little bit. Apparently, Rappo was on the cell phone with an agent when Jordan Schultz approached him and said, we need to talk. This is all Twitter reporting, by the way. I don't know how much of this is like true, misquoted, whatever. But sometimes, not often, in fact, very rarely, but sometimes, I'm 100% just going to believe whatever I read on Twitter because it's way funnier than anything else, okay? This is going to be one of those times. According to reports on Twitter, Jordan Schultz approached Ian Rappo at a Starbucks and said, while Rappaport was on the phone with an agent, we need to talk. Rappo said, we don't need to talk. Schultz said, if you have anything to say to me, say it to my face. If this continues, we're going to have a problem. Rappo apparently, again, Twitter reporting, take it with the whole shaker of salt. Rappo apparently walked away and called NFL security, who is currently investigating the matter. NBC Sports actually has a write-up on this on the Pro Football Talk website. I'm trying to see. Let's see who.
Oh, several people do. I was just looking at the awful announcing write-up. McAfee and those guys were talking to him about it a little bit yesterday, which I saw them, the end of them talking to him. He just showed up on it. You know how they have that open mic somewhere in whatever building they're in? He just walked up to it, and they were doing their thing.
Also, they did my dog dirty because, like, they had the camera on him, and it was like this, right? Like, it was filming. You got, like, the top of Rappo's head. He looked like Wilson from Home Improvement.
But listen, Eisen was there, and he helped him. He told him, step to your left, step back. Eisen got him perfectly in frame.
They still did my dog dirty. Like, come on, guys. Move the camera.
Well, he was kind of, he just went through an ordeal. And I just looked up.
Oh, was this after the.
Yeah, this was after. And I just looked up Jordan Schultz, and I think he looks like a hothead to me. So this is a guy who's probably taller than him, in his face. I bet there's spittle. I'm guessing there was spittle, and you got to make a decision. Do I want to go, or do I want to get this guy gone?
Shefty, shortly after this was reported, Shefty put up a tweet that said, Indianapolis, head on a swivel with just the sign of the Starbucks as the picture attached to it. Look, there are, and this part I can say.
I think he's afraid he's next.
This part I can say is for certain, as somebody who's been in this industry for a very long time. There are two ways to get ahead in this business. Two ways. One of them works better than the other, but there are two ways to get ahead in this industry. Way number one is to be an egomaniacal jackass and not worry about anybody else around you. You just got to be, you're willing to stab backs and slit throats to get where you want to be.
Hey, I know someone like that.
We all do. We all do. No one specific, but we've all worked with guys like that before. You will stab back, slit throats. You ain't worried about anybody else's feelings. It is you and yourself against the world. And the second way to get ahead in this job is the exact opposite. It is to be kind. It is to be compassionate. It is to be willing to work with people. It is to be willing to bend over backwards to get done what needs to be done. That's the way I've attacked this career. That's the way I've stayed in this game. I make myself available. I make myself as helpful as I can be. I make myself as versatile and adaptable as I can be. And when somebody calls and they go, hey, Rob Brown, we know you get up at 3:30 in the morning to work your weekday show, but can you host the nighttime show on BetMGM Network for 3 nights because nobody else says yes? The answer is, yeah, absolutely. I'll be tired for a couple of days if that's going to help everybody out and also give me some more airtime. Yeah, I'm all in, right? I get the impression that Schultz is one way and Rappo's the other. And I'll let you guess who's who in that situation. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Dude who gets in other dude's face and says, if you got something to say. Now, I'm not saying Rappo didn't do anything wrong. Rappo could very well have been on the agent and been like, hey, do me a favor. Don't give any of this information to Schultz. Okay? I don't know why he sounds so creepy on the phone. Don't give any of this information to Jordan Schultz, right? Like maybe he was trying to blacklist him and get him out of the game. And maybe there may be more drama to this. What I'm saying is that dude, Schultz, seems like he's absolutely the dude that would get in your face in a Starbucks. Be like, keep my mo bleeping name out your mo bleeping mouth. And Rappo is like exactly the opposite. Rappaport seems like the dude that would, I don't know, immediately call NFL security and be like, yep, this guy's a problem. This guy's a problem. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I said during the break, I'm like, that kind of seems soft from Rappo. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't really know. I want the drama. All right, I want the tea.
Let me repeat what I said on the stream. Yeah, I get you want the drama, but the adult thing to do is just call security. If guy is being irate, if he's getting in your face, you just got to call security, unless you're likes the fight guy. I mean, as an adult, and I'm guessing they were at Starbucks. There might have been a lot of caffeine involved, but probably nothing else. Nothing to give someone some courage. And Rappaport, I mean, it has to go with the territory, but I would expect him to be confronted by an athlete who didn't like a story. But another reporter, that's the dude. Go home.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really get into the the TMZ,
And
the
I'm
sip of the tea
guessing
drama
this
behind
is
all this.
This is a tall guy versus a small guy. That's also what I'm envisioning.
I don't know.
I don't know how tall Schultz is. I don't know if his stats are out there so we know his height. I can tell you Rappaport doesn't appear to be a tall guy.
I'm just gonna say.
I need some tell of the tape, and I don't know if we can find it.
I'm just gonna say, of all the rivalries, of all of the fights that we've seen so far this year, hell, this to me is like WrestleMania main event worthy. I want the tea. I want the drama. I want to know what Rappo did to Schultze, what he said. I want to know what Schultze precisely said to Rappo in a Starbucks. I want to know what it was that brought these two dudes damn near to blows while they were sipping their venti vanilla blonde lattes in a Starbucks.
Don't project what you like onto them.
I love a vanilla blonde latte.
Probably we're drinking something different, I'm guessing.
40 years old, I finally found the coffee I like, and I am more than secure enough to say publicly that my coffee drink of choice is a venti vanilla blonde latte from the Bucks. It's delightful, bud. Extra pump of vanilla in that thing. You can put it on ice when it's hot outside. You can get it hot when it's cold outside. It's adaptable. It's versatile. I got to tell you, first coffee drink I've ever found that I like. The wife got one a couple of weeks ago. We were hanging out in the hospital when her father-in-law, or excuse me, her stepdad was in there, and she went down to the Bucks and she got one. She brought it up. I was like, all right, never had one of these. Let me try it. Let me get a taste. Let me see if I like it. Buddy, it slaps.
Things that guys over 40 might say.
Hey,
for 500.
Like I said, you judge me for whatever you want to judge me, however you want to judge me. I do not care. Venti vanilla blonde latte. Get it. Extra pump of vanilla. That's the secret. That's the key. It's fine on its own. Little extra dab, little extra pump of vanilla on top of that. Get it hot when it's cold outside. Get it cold when it's hot outside.
As someone who doesn't drink either, is this like the equivalent of a White Claw in alcohol?
It's just a coffee.
Okay. All
it's
right.
just coffee.
I'm just saying, as far as standing goes.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, instead of that extra pump of vanilla, little Kahlua in that bad boy might be the game changer I'm looking for right now. But as it is 6:48 in the morning, probably not throwing the extra Irish cream down in there.
What the heck is Kahlua?
Kahlua is it's a liqueur that mixes absolutely perfectly with coffee. If you're a coffee guy, okay. It's what they make a mudslide with. I don't know why I'm explaining alcoholic beverages to you using alcoholic beverages as a reference.
Because, I don't get it, but other people will. So, I mean, that's all that matters.
It is a coffee-flavored liqueur, primarily from Central and South America, obviously.
Is it pronounced liqueur or is it liquor?
It's liqueur. It is a liqueur. A
okay,
liqueur is
right.
a type of liquor.
Because it's fancy.
Yes.
Okay.
But it makes a it's what the Big Lebowski drank in his White Russians.
Still haven't seen it.
I can't help.
I missed my window, dude.
I can't help. That's not a window. It's a cult classic. It's been around for a decade and people still learn it.
A bunch of stoners. I can go back to where I grew up at and just watch all the stoners.
It's not. What are you? Julianne Moore is in this movie.
So?
She's amazing.
She's been in some other racy type stuff, so I don't know that brings up the level.
It's not racy. It's artsy.
Okay. All right.
That's enough. That's enough of that. We got actual stuff to get into. I did not mean to go down a Rappo Schultze.
No, we wanted to go there because that's sports news right there for sure, and it's very interesting. And I know there are some people. You were very close to saying that he's wimpy for calling security.
I was borderline. That's why, but I'm gonna hold up. I'm gonna push the pause button, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna need TMZ on the scene immediately. I'm gonna need TMZ boots on the ground in Indy. I need to find out the Rappo Schultze beef. We need to know what's going on. Do we have like a Drake Kendrick level rivalry going here? Do we have like a Gunther J Uso yeet where like clearly we have a side like where?
Oh my God, that's Wojnarowski's music.
Yeah. Are we gonna have the glass break and here comes Jay Glazer walking down the ramp? Like, how's this gonna go? Is this what happened with Shams and Woj? Is this a continuation? Like we had Austin McMahon and now we're gonna have Rock Cody? This is the Rock Cody version of the Woj Shams rivalry?
Listen, we know radio is competitive. We know that TV is competitive. Why wouldn't this level of whatever that is, breaking news,
especially
journalism,
that, right.
not be sports journalism, not be competitive?
Especially that level, because there's only so many stories to break, and B, like, you get a big-time breaking story, you catch one of those, your career can to the moon. That's what happened with a guy like Shams, right? Like, he figured, that's why, you want the truth? That's why him and Woj butt heads. Because Woj spent years and years and years cultivating the contacts to where his name is the verb for breaking a story. You drop a Woj bomb, right? So Woj spent years and years and years and years and years cultivating these contacts to where people called him. They called him and said, hey, this story's going to break. Be ready for it, whatever. And then out of left field comes this kid, Shams, and Shams figured out how to crack the code. He figured how to get into the discussion. He figured out who we needed to talk to so that his name, it went right under Woj on the list, on the contact list when somebody had a story to break. And so they maybe texted both those guys, and now Shams beating Woj to the punch. They got a little issue. Because, again, think about it. You spend 15, 20 years honing your craft, building this contact list to be that guy, to be him when it comes to breaking stories. And then out of nowhere, this kid comes in and is just gimmick infringement. Like, I can't have that, right? You're going to fight back, or you're going to push back a little bit. Now, the thing is, Rappo, and I used to have Ian Rappaport back on my show years and years and years ago because he started, I want to say, in like Mobile, Alabama. He started at like a little rag, and I used to have him on my show.
Did you ever meet him personally?
At the Senior Bowl, a couple of times.
Okay.
Very, very early, though.
Height.
Like years ago.
Height.
I mean, shorter than me, but like I'd say he's between me and Cole. It's like right.
Dude, that's a big distance.
And I didn't have any issue, but also I wasn't infringing on his gimmick, right? Like I wasn't in his territory. If this man spent years and years and years building up from being a street beat reporter, going to the Senior Bowl, scrounging for table scraps to report, to he was doing it so well, the NFL hired him to come be their guy, right? And so here comes Schultze. Schultze stepping on the scene. Schultze's probably in there like grabbing his contacts, right? Like maybe Matt Stafford's agent's on the phone with Schultze before he's getting with Rappo, and now Rappo spent 20 years building himself up to work for the NFL, and now he's getting scooped. That is his career. That's his lifeblood. That's his job. That's his money. I think all of us are probably willing to let a lot go until you start putting your foot on my income stream. Now I got to fight back a little bit. I'm just saying, I'm going to need somebody to go boots on the ground in Indy and either figure out the drama or get the cage match set up.
There are a lot of people there in Indianapolis right now. This thing ain't over. We're gonna get some more today.
Can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I hope they put up some turnbuckles in the middle of that Starbucks.
I'm just guessing that Starbucks has cameras. I don't know if you can get access to it or not. I mean, I don't know if a FOIA will work in I guess that
on
can't
a
work.
Starbucks? No.
It can't work on a Starbucks.
Yeah,
but,
correct.
But you know, if security was involved, then maybe there'll be another kind of investigation, and suddenly that might be a possibility to get some cameras.
Somebody find the tea. That's all I want. All right, coming up on the show, next segment of the radio broadcast, we got your water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports this morning. Then after that, I got a bunch of sound. We're going to be whipping the sound around today because there's plenty of it and a lot of topics. We're going to talk some NFL Combine taking place up in Indianapolis. Rappo and Schultze, sure, but like some players actually worked out. We'll tell you about those coming up here in a little while. We have got to get your audio blitz coming up at 8 o'clock this a.m. and more. All of that after Lonzo enlightens, educates, enthralls you with this sports flash.
I'm Team Rappaport. I just want you to know. The NFL salary cap will be set at $279.2 million this year, the highest in league history, and an increase of $23.8 million over last year. Thank you, Taylor Swift. The increase is a result of NFL media deals, which have increased revenue over recent years. The NFL franchise tag deadline is Monday at 4, and free agency negotiating begins March 10th at noon. All teams must be under the cap by 4 p.m. on March 12th, the start of the league year. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce will run it back one more time in 2025. Kelce announced yesterday on the Pat McAfee show via text message that Super Bowl loss to Philadelphia left a bad taste in his mouth, telling McAfee, "I can't go out like that." Tune in tomorrow at 1:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Wofford Terriers. It's Furman versus Wofford right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, Upstate. Good morning, Michael. We're having a wonderful time already.
Dog. Kahlua is made from elephant dung. No, it is not, Kane.
Sounds legit to me because I don't know.
It is made from coffee.
What if it was made from? Would it stop you from using it?
It's also a 20% alcohol, so you can have like a mudslide and your night's over. And I love a mudslide. I haven't had a mudslide in a long time. I might have to go get a mudslide tonight. It's more of a dessert drink.
Sounds like something a 20-year-old or 22, 24-year-old would be partaking in. Not someone of your age. I mean,
mudslides and White Russians. I did have, there's a barcade in Columbia that when we went to see Cowboy Mouth last year, we went early so we could go to this barcade. And they made a White Russian, but they had what they called a white trash Russian. And it was a White Russian, but they made it with PBR. It was freaking good. I saved the recipe on my phone. Oh, come on. What's the point if you're not going to send the ball back?
wow. Why don't you yell at it?
It has one job, man. If I came in here and turned on the mic and started dropping F-bombs, you'd yell at me. You got one job. Don't do that.
Yeah. I don't. You haven't really heard me yell, but yeah, I might.
And then you. When I talked the boss into doing a putt-putt corporate meeting instead of a bowling meeting, everybody's in trouble.
We've had those before over there.
Coming for blood.
We've been over across the street for that before. It's a long time ago. We hit that course a couple times before doing the Pulse before also. Team bonding. Patrick Brown also brought his own putter.
I'm absolutely bringing my actual putter.
Yeah, I know. I said that because, I remember,
Not even my leave the. Not even the.
I remember Mad World a couple of years ago. So
my actual expensive putter, because I'm coming for blood. And off we go into hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Up State. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you. I am Rob Brown, the great Lonzo on the ones and the twos today. Lot to get to, lot to talk about on the show, but 7 o'clock in the morning. You got just a tick under an hour before you got to get to the office. You got to sit down. You got to log in. You got to respond to all those passive-aggressive emails the boss sent last night that you ignored because you're going to tell him, I'm sorry, boss, I went to bed a little early last night. Sorry I wasn't checked in. Lie to him.
I did go to bed early last night.
I believe that.
Just in case he's listening, I did.
I did not. We went out and we went out to the wine house.
Oh,
and
I
celebrated the
know
birthday
you
with the little vino.
I was gonna say, I know you didn't go to bed early.
Yeah, not at all.
Tell us.
All right, that was just a typo. That wasn't like an egregious mistake. Steals, Stellas, they're right there. All right, and it didn't give me the old red squiggly line of death underneath it, or I would have changed it. All right. Anyway, went out to the vino house, had a couple of glasses, listened to my girl Evelyn shred some keys, play a little piano with the madre who came into town to surprise me for the birthday. Thank you, Mom. Love you. Glad you're here. And the wife who set up the whole shindig. It was lovely. Then I went home, dialed in, got ready for the show today. And what I did first was put together the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories you need to know, and we do that right now.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
Friday, gotta get down on Friday. No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It's the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office. This Friday, got to get down on Friday, February 28, 2025. When you do, when you settle in, when you walk down the hallway, you go talk to your coworkers. This is what you're going to be talking about. Let's dive right in. Item numero uno. The NFL salary cap was expected to go up. It has. In fact, not only has it gone up, it's gone up $23.8 million. NFL informed teams yesterday that the 2025 salary cap has been set at a record $279.2 million per team. It was also expected that the projected player cost, which includes the benefits provided to NFL players, will be capped at $362.48 million. The salary cap calculated annually based on collectively bargained formula that is tied to league revenues. The league revenues have been going up over the past few years because of multiple new media rights deals. It has increased the NFL's incoming revenue enough that the teams get to utilize that to make their teams better. The franchise tag deadline for the National Football League is this upcoming Monday at 4 p.m. Then we will have just a handful of days before the free agent negotiation period begins March 10th. At noon Eastern. Teams will then have approximately 2 days to get themselves under the cap as the league's new year begins on March 12th at 4 p.m. All teams must be under the salary cap by that point. We'll see how that lines up for the handful of teams that are above it. My team, who is exponentially above it. We'll see what victims are going to be out there because over the next couple of weeks, we will start to see different cuts being made around the league. But salary cap going up $28+ million. Franchise tag deadline Monday. Free agent negotiations start March 10th, and teams must be under the cap by March 12th at 4 p.m. Let's get to item number 2. Turns out he can still ball. Steph Curry last night, 50-point game. Actually, if you want to be legit about it, 56-point game for the Golden State Warriors as they knocked off Orlando yesterday, 121-115. Steph Curry had a dozen three-pointers, including a 56-foot running half-court heave that he got to drop. Curry buried the halftime buzzer beater as Paolo Banchero could only it was pretty funny, actually. Just kind of raise his hands God, what do I do? What do I do if this man's hitting 56-foot runners? There's nothing you can do. From that shot beyond midcourt to the 3:38 mark in the third quarter, Curry scored 25 of his 56 to help the Dubs overcome a 17-point deficit in that game. Curry was 16 of 25 from the floor, 12 of those were three-pointers, the most by a player this season. He was also a perfect dozen for a dozen from the free throw line. It was Steph Curry's 14th career 50-point game. He is now tied with LeBron James and Rick Barry for the 7th most in NBA history. He has 9 50-point games at age 30 or older. That is the most in NBA history. The kid can still ball. Last night, Steph Curry going off for 56 in a Dubs dub. Well done to Steph. Hit him with the night-night. Let's get to item number 3. So what would you tap for item number 3? South Carolina women's basketball team goes on the road down to Ole Miss, get another dub. That's a 3-game win streak coming off the UConn win. Or the fact that this evening in Clemson, South Carolina, we're going first pitch on a 3-game set between the Gamecocks and the Tigers, one in Clemson, tomorrow in Greenville at Floor, Sunday over in Columbia at Founders. Which one of those two is item number 3?
Why would we talk about what will be when we could talk about what has been?
So basketball.
Yeah, you got to think about that. Yes, basketball.
South Carolina women's basketball team last night, 75-59 winners on the road over the Ole Miss Running Rebels. It drops Ole Miss to 18-9, improves the Gamecocks to 26-3. They are 14-1 in the conference, and as it stands right now, they are right there tied with the Texas Longhorns for the lead in the SEC. South Carolina has lost 3 games so far. However, one of those games was to the Texas Longhorns. They did also defeat the Texas Longhorns. So if all things hold between here and the end of the year, we're going to have to go down the tiebreaker sheet to find out who will be getting the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. Texas has just 1 game left ahead of them. They have a homer against the Florida Gators coming up on March 2nd. South Carolina, of course, has a couple of games left between them in the end of the season, has 1 game left between them and the end of the season. That is also on March 2nd when they are back home in Columbia to take on the number 15 ranked Kentucky Wildcats. South Carolina last night led by 22 points from Sonia Fagan. She also had 6 boards. Chloe Kitts went triple-double last night. 16 points, 13 boards, and 10 assists to lead the Gamecocks. 10 for Joyce Edwards off the bench, 9 for Malaysia Fulwiley. Look, it was not anywhere close to the most electric game the ladies have played. It was not anywhere close to the most dynamic game the ladies have played. But we had Lulu Kesson on the show yesterday. She covers this team for the Greenville News. I said, look, what do you think we want to see out of this Gamecocks women's basketball team tonight against Ole Miss? She said Dawn Staley was asked that exact question on Wednesday night. Dawn, what do you want to see out of the girls on the road at Ole Miss? And Dawn's answer was, I just want to win. I just want to win. Let's go out there, let's string points together, and let's get that dub. And they did just that. South Carolina putting themselves in a real good position. They will still be, I have no doubt, one of the number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament when it starts up here in just a couple of weeks from now. We'll see where they end up in the bracket for the SEC Women's Conference Championship Tournament 2 weeks from now, right here in Greenville, South Carolina. Looking forward to seeing how that shapes up. You know what? We started it early. Screw it. Item number 4. I know, I threw him off with that. He didn't know I was going to do an item number 4. Item number 4, South Carolina and Clemson. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I have said it before, and I'll say it again. College baseball is awesome. I love a little college baseball, and we are going to get a couple of the best teams in the country putting on the gloves, both batting and fielding. Locking down the helmets, bending the bill just a little bit, and taking to the South Carolina sunshine over the next 3 days. Clemson, South Carolina, Doug Kingsmore Stadium. That's the site of Game 1 when the Clemson Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks get it on this evening. Game number 2, tomorrow afternoon, Floor Field, right here in the GVL. Yeah! Game number 3, on down the road, we take it to Founders Park in Columbia, South Carolina for the rubber game. I am jacked about this series. I may very well pop in the car and head down to Clemson tonight. I'm not going to lie. I was talking to our buddy Kevin from downstairs yesterday. We had a client meeting. He's a Clemson guy. And we were talking about this series. right? Because it's kind of interesting. Between these two teams, they've played a total of like one game against a genuine College World Series threat. Clemson played Ole Miss in the opening torno of the season, and that's the only L between these two teams. South Carolina and Clemson have both racked up wins against teams like Winthrop and JMU, et cetera. Now we get an opportunity to see best on best, to see ones on ones, to see Friday starter against Friday starter, Sunday closer against Sunday closer, and it just doesn't get better. So haven't ruled out. Here's my question, and I think I can get away with this because I don't think she's going to listen yet. The birthday was Wednesday. Lonzo, do I get to claim birthday privileges for Sunday Fun Day and be like, hey, we're going over to Columbia to watch some baseball?
Does she say...
It's my birthday month.
Oh, she goes month. I was going to say, does she say birthday week?
You know, honestly...
If she goes birthday month, then, dude, you're
then
clear.
Definitely.
If she says birthday week, you're also clear.
Yeah, because we didn't do anything last weekend because it wasn't my birthday yet, right? And to be honest with you, I 100% am not it's my birthday guy. All right. It never even came up on Wednesday.
Well, it couldn't. I had to leave.
Well, that's also true.
I may have had some stuff planned, but I couldn't do it. I could not execute.
I didn't bring it up on Wednesday at all because I'm not it's my birthday guy. Like, this may shock you. If I'm going to be the center of attention, it's not going to be because I was born. Like, I'm going to earn being the center of attention.
And, of course, it has nothing to do with what year it was. Now,
because
if he was turning 25, maybe it was a different story when he was 25.
No, I've accepted, I dare say I've embraced the being 40.
Yeah, you've been saying you were 40 like this entire year.
Like,
so.
I've embraced the 40. I'm good with the 40. The 40 doesn't hurt me anymore. Even though I do that thing now where to stand up out of a chair, I got to like put my hands on my thighs and like push up. And I go, ugh, when I stand up, like that sucks a little bit. The waking up twice a night to go pee in the middle of the night, that's kind of getting old real quick. But I feel fine. Like, we went out, we walked around.
You said you embraced the 40. I'm just picturing certain gentlemen with paper bags embracing their 40. Friday night.
I have embraced
the
40.
Corner.
Both literally and metaphorically, I have embraced the 40. I feel fine. Like, I'm not, like, it feels the same as it did at 39, 38, right? Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, but you're killing your excuse, though, by saying all that stuff. That this is celebratory. This is a landmark for you, so you should have a little more time to celebrate.
Well, and like I said, the thing is, we've been married for 5 months, but we've been together for like 5 years. She's been with me for every birthday so 36 through 40. She's been with me for all of them. And she knows, like, I'm not birthday guy, to the point that if she doesn't put something together for my birthday, nothing gets done. Right? Like, I'm not throwing myself a party. I'm not asking people to come out for dinner. Like, if we're going to do something, she's going to put it together, or I'm going to sit on the couch and play video games and drink a bourbon and go to bed. But since I haven't done that for 4 years, is it going to be too much if on Sunday I'm like, hey, babe, you know how it's my birthday weekend? You want to go to, and on top of that, like, I'm going to take her to her school, right? She's a Gamecock.
Dude.
I'm not asking her to go to Clemson. I'm like, can we go down the road to Columbia, go back into your old stomping grounds?
Shouldn't require too much pushing because it's Clemson versus South Carolina. I mean,
that's my thought, right? Like, if I'm like, it's my birthday, and also I'm going to take you to an opportunity to let a couple of Tiger fans know how you feel about them on their stomping ground. That's an auto yes, right?
What time's the game on Sunday?
1 o'clock, I think.
Okay, so there'll be some time to do some things down in Columbia afterwards.
Yeah.
That's also a selling point.
We can hit, 5 points? We can hit 5 points. All right, we can hit we can hit the old barcade, get you a white trash Russian. Then we hit a little afternoon baseball tailgating. Go to a game, enjoy 9, bring it back to the crib, go to bed early. What do you think? It's my birthday, babe. I think that'll work. Okay, she hasn't texted yet.
All right, so I think you're set. I think
that might be the play. I think that might be the play. Got to work Saturday, or else I'd go to the game at Floor. Unfortunately, I'll be on the air, so I won't make that. So I think I'm just gonna go like, I got to work tomorrow. We got a trip coming up in 3 weeks I got to pay for. So I got to do the extra work. But like Sunday Fun Day, we got nothing going. We can go down there, tailgate a little baseball game. Go watch the Yardcocks take on the Tigers. I think we're on to something here. Joey says, happy birthday, Rob. Welcome to the age of old. Why does that make me feel worse now? I felt fine until Joey sent welcome to the age of old. That one hurt a little bit. All right. When we come back here.
You're still working radio. If you listen to that last hour, you ain't old.
That's also fair. That's also fair. All right, when we come back here in just a minute, we got a handful of things that we need to talk about on the radio program. We got some NFL storylines that are popping up and breaking right now. I got some hockey talk. And by hockey talk, I mean literally people from the world of hockey talking about the fights in the Four Nations final. I'm not over that. It's still one of my favorite things that's happened in 2025. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. Welcome to the age of old. Woof. That one stung a little bit. All right.
You're almost grandpa age.
I am not. Well, it's not grandpa age.
You are in South Carolina.
That's okay. I can't find that.
We'll be back. I got a thing.
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. There's a couple of clips from the world of collegiate football that I would like to get to here on the show. Let's start with Let's start with Matt Rule. I want to give you I genuinely feel this way. Matt Rule obviously was a complete, total failure as an NFL coach. For some reason, I'm like weirdly intrigued by Matt Rule, head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, though. Like I don't hold any ill will towards Matt Rule for his stint with the Carolina Panthers. Like, he did what he knows. He brought all he knows in terms of mentality and practice to the Carolina Panthers. He just became the most recent coach to figure out that pro football players ain't college football players. It's a different world. You can't act the same way. You can't coach the same way. You can't lead the same way. It's a different world. And Matt Rule was just the next in a long line of guys who thought that you could bring a college OOU mentality to the NFL, and it failed. But Matt Rule, the college coach, I'm intrigued by. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm like in line, in step with everything he said, but there has been a lot that he has said that I am on board with. Like yesterday when he was in on the Pat McAfee show, and Pat Mac asked Matt Rule his thoughts on the transfer portal.
How do we fix this? One portal time, one transfer window?
One portal. Think about it. Basketball has one portal. So why would basketball have one and we have two? It's because our season is different. I get it. But whether it's in January, December,
April, just keep the April one.
Yeah, but
then you're a couple months out.
Yeah, I mean, how many people leave in April and have a lot of success 2 months later? Yeah. Like, I literally could, if I wanted to, I could say, who am I playing week one, and see who goes in the portal from them and take them, and then know what they're going to do against us. So, but I'm with you. Whatever's best for the student athlete, but I think we should pick one. I don't want to negotiate a contract with a guy in December and then renegotiate again in April. Like, you sign up with us, you should sign up for the year. Coaches sign up for the year. And so let's do once a year, whatever's best. If it's April, if it's December. I will say this. I thought it was terrible for the young men, not just for the teams, but for the young men. The guys had to make a decision. Do I play with my team in the college football playoff, or do I go in the playoffs, or go in the portal because that's what's best for me? So I think one portal window would be way better.
I'm good with that. In fact, I agree with that. One portal window would be way better. I'm intrigued on if that's possible right now. Not to say it's not long-term, but I'm intrigued about whether that's possible down the line. And what I mean by that is I am intrigued to see if there is some sort of negotiation, if this is something that would need to be covered by a potential down the line, as I've said a number of times, I think is a reality, collective bargaining agreement that will have to be struck with the players once the players are allowed to, and if they do, effectively unionize, because there's actually one thing I have left out, because I've told you a bunch of times, like, if you want this regulated, like fully regulated, like well regulated, I think at this point, just because of the way that this has been played out in the legal system in years gone by, you are going to have to allow players to unionize, and then you will have to collectively bargain with them. We are talking about billions of dollars. You will have to collectively bargain for that. And then once you get to a point where the players have a union, and once you get to a point where the union can collectively bargain on behalf of the players, everything's on the table. They can come to the table and they can say, hey, look, we as part of the collective bargaining agreement, we want to go down to one transfer portal window. And the players can say, great, we're on board with that. But in return for one transfer portal window, we want blank. We want compensation in this regard, this manner. And then the two sides can kind of work back and forth to figure out where they're going to go. I believe long-term that is where this is going to end up. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't have an issue and actually agree with Matt Rule. There should be one transfer window. And I will even go so far as to say, for me, I think the best place to put the transfer window is like right now. It's like right now. Let's allow the recruiting period to go on at like the main recruiting period leading up to signing day. maybe a couple of weeks ago. Let it go up to signing day, but have the portal be open at the same time as that last recruiting push. I do not think the portal should be open while the playoffs are going on. In fact, I genuinely want to know, because I don't. I genuinely want to know whose bright idea it was to put a portal window while the playoffs are going on.
Why not?
Why?
Why not put it next week? I would wait till after the combine. And I know the two really don't, I guess, technically have a lot to do with each other, but just so you have the spotlight.
The spotlight as in with the transfer portal open?
Yeah. That way you're not, I mean, a bunch of people can talk about it. It's the only thing going on. And plus, that gives us another thing while football season is over. I think you put it in a place so that football is always being talked about, which the NFL does quite a bit, and college football should do the same thing. And or do you put it after spring games, which is kind of what people want.
Spring games are on their way out. We talked about that yesterday. Like, there's going to be a point in the near future where, like, spring games are a rarity. Spring games are going to make sense for, like, lower-level teams, FB or FCS teams, Division II teams, JUCO teams, whatever. That makes sense for them. I don't think spring games are going to make that much sense moving forward for Power 5 teams, FBS teams. We'll see. But
there are teams who charge for you to go to their spring game.
Sure.
They're not going to get rid of that.
I disagree, because you can charge for other things. Instead of, you got to buy a ticket to the spring game, and we're going to pack $110,000 into the stadium, which is really only like Michigan, Alabama, Ohio State are the only schools that are like filling up their stadium for the spring game. I've been to spring games of major college programs where there's like 20,000 people in the building, all right? You're going to see schools like USC is doing, Southern Cal is doing, that are going to start replacing their spring game with fan appreciation events. And they're going to go, hey, you can come out and get your picture and taken and your autographs from Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and Vince Young in Texas or whoever, and I think you'll go down that path. But regardless of how the spring games work out, and regardless of where the portal window goes, I think the only thing I would say is having it while the college football playoffs are going on is silly. We don't even have to go any further back than a month and a half ago when Penn State lost their backup quarterback to the transfer portal when Drew Aller said, I'm coming back for one more run at this, right? And Bo Pribula, the backup quarterback, I believe I got that right, said, well, then I'm out. I'm never going to start here. Right? Like, it's just playing here isn't an option. And you can get on my guy all you want about where you're committed to the team and, competition, earn the top spot. That's not how it works, okay? Sometimes you're just limited by your capability. And to go, I can't start here. I'm not taking Drew Aller's job. The man just led us to a college football national semifinal. Like, I can't do it. If he wants to go somewhere and play for a school where he knows he's got the opportunity to start and play, I'm not faulting him for that. And I will give Matt Rule credit in these takes that he has for saying repeatedly, like, I don't think it is a problem to allow football players to do what's best for football players, to do what's best for themselves. I don't have a problem with that. Good. Like, I like to hear that. I appreciate that out of a head coach who could absolutely grab a mic, as many have, and go, you got to do what's best for the football program. You got to do it. Like, this guy's like, hey, listen, I want the players to be well off. If a guy's not going to be his best self here with us, then he should be able to go somewhere where he will be. I respect that. I appreciate that, which is probably part of the reason that, like, I'm very much listening to what Matt Rule has to say about the development of football. But I do genuinely agree with him. There should be one portal window. I'm for extending it, by the way. I make it a whole month, the entire month of March. You can transfer anytime during the month. You got 31 days in March to transfer, to put your name in the portal, to see if there's a new team. On the flip side of that, as I've said many times, with adult opportunity comes adult consequences. I am fine if a guy goes to a school, goes to Matt Rule in Nebraska and goes, I'm putting my name in the portal, for them to go, great, I'm taking your name off the roster. Good luck. And if that guy puts his name in the portal and doesn't land anywhere, that sucks, bud. But, like, that's your adult opportunity, and this is your adult consequence. Sometimes you don't find a landing spot. You had one, you were on a roster, and now you're not. I don't have a problem. Make it one portal window. Make it after the playoffs are over, after a national championship has been awarded, I do not think that any college player should have to make a determination of, do I play in a bowl game? Do I play in a playoff game? Do I play in a semi? Do I play in a natty? Knowing that if I do that, then I can't go somewhere else. Somewhere like Bo Pribula, somewhere I can go and actually play. I want to go play. Nobody's ever said I'll sign this scholarship to go practice college football. They want to play. We all want to play. I don't think any player should have to make that choice. I don't think any player should have to decide that I either have to go put my name in the portal and leave a national championship team or leave a bowl team or leave a playoff team or whatever, or go somewhere. I don't think players should be jammed into that situation. I think they should have the opportunity to finish the year they started, which I got to guess Bo Pribula probably wanted to do. Finish the year I started, and then have myself an opportunity to move on, not have to decide between finishing the year I started or moving on. But as a trade-off for going down to one window, which I think we should, as a trade-off for going down to one window, I also think that window should be like a month long. I think that window should be 31 days in length. And you can go February 15th to March 15th. You can open it the day after the college football national championship game. We know what day that game's going to be years out in advance. So, do it the day, open it for 31 days, the day after the trophy is lifted. And let guys make a decision once the year is concluded. Once everybody's done. Now, guys don't have to be in that position. Guys don't have to think, do I finish the year I started? Which could include a playoff game. It could include a national championship game, and then give myself an opportunity to go somewhere where I'll actually get to play, be better off, or whatever. It's to me, and I know life's not fair, but there's no need to make it more unfair. Just because life's not fair doesn't mean we should go. But so we're just going to leave this ridiculous system in place, right? Like, you can fix this very easily. I'm on Team Matt Rule on this one. I think you can fix it. I think you can change it. You make it one window. You make it 31 days in length. You put it after the conclusion of the natty, and now we don't have to have these situations anymore. By the way, Matt Rule was asked on the Pat McAfee show after that, when do you think this is going to get fixed? And Matt Rule said he had a conversation with Tony Petitti, and that Petitti and Greg Sankey have had a discussion about this in the past. He thinks that the portal could be cleaned up as early as next year. Now, I don't know, because again, it's probably going to be legally challenged by some players somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just does get fixed. I don't know. But he said he believes this could be all cleared up by as early as next year per conversations with Tony Petitti, which is interesting. We'll find out. We'll roll on after this. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
And Charles Barkley. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm in a good mood, man.
Why is that?
Well, because I was at Starbucks today. And it's dangerous in there, Ernie. There's bits flying everywhere. I was like, see, I don't normally go to Starbucks, because that's where rich white folks go. I used to get
Rich white folks go?
Yeah, I love to go with black folks.
That's the place with it.
Yeah, that's what
apparently it's where a lot of reporters go.
Apparently.
$2 coffee is you have to be rich.
Ain't no $2 coffee. They should be
There's no
drinking
$2
Folgers like the rest of us. Oh my God.
Hey, you know we're in the presence.
Also, Chuck, you ain't poor.
Verbally accosted Ian Rappaport of NFL Media at an Indianapolis Starbucks on Wednesday afternoon. The report was made to NFL security.
Jack, you see that kind of word there? Accosted. Accosted. Whooping his ass. That's what happened. George. Yeah, you'll stop talking now. Get that Frappuccino thing right next time.
Hey, you know we're in the presence of royalty tonight. What?
No, sure about that story.
What is?
I've been knowing Jordan for a long time. Of course, his father's Howard Schultz. He could have owned all the franchise, but he decided to go a different route. I've always respected Jordan for that. But yeah, Jordan. Hope you got it. Ian. I got Ian in this one. May 19th. Let's do it. Hey, we'll let them go first as a warm-up. Then me and you will go.
By the way,
May 19th.
you real?
The boys are the best.
Shows you how big this story is.
Right? Give me 30 seconds, guys. Be right back. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. The fan upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you be a part of the show. 844-326-3663 is the number. If you want to jump on board, you can text us 7130771. No, that's not the number. It's also the same number. 844. We switched over like 3 months ago, Brown. Get it together. 844-326-3663. Our text poll of the day is up. 844-326-3663. Deck and I, Cody Decker, my Saturday co-host, and I have had this conversation before. We are on violent opposite ends of the spectrum here. Turns out, Lonzo and I, less violently, but on other ends of the spectrum.
It's rare that Cody Decker and I are on the same side.
It is, but you are on this one.
We are on this.
Queso or guac? Which is the superior dip? Queso or guac? We are tabulating your votes to find out if the Armada are queso bros or guac guys. 844-326-3663. All you got to do is text queso, Q-U-E-S-O, or guac, G-U-A-C. Text one of those two, your selection, to 844-326-3663. Queso, Q-U-E-S-O, or guac, G-U-A-C, to 844-326-3663. I can tell you that as of right now, let's take a look at the votes, where they stand right now. Just a handful in, most of them coming earlier in the show. We're sitting on about 55 votes right now. Usually we end somewhere in the neighborhood of like 130, 140. We'll see if this picks up. But right now, 55 votes, Lonzo, 39 of them are for queso. Like one of the larger leads. It is early. It's only 7:40. We got over 2 hours left.
And I don't believe you mentioned the poll like this entire hour.
I don't think I did either.
So,
I think you're correct.
I mean, you need to push it a little bit. I've been waiting. I think it's too early to text Diesel. So I've been waiting till, I don't think he gets up this early because he doesn't have to. I'll wait till the 8 o'clock hour and text both he and Cole and see what they say.
I'm all for adding the votes, all right? This is the voice of the Armada. Text and start your text with either queso or guac. You can add on, you can emphasize if you'd like, but your text needs to start with queso, Q-U-E-S-O, or your text needs to start with guac, G-U-A-C. Which is your favorite? Which is the superior dip? 844-326-3663. We have just gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes while we're talking about it. 6 of them are for queso. This is a railroading in favor of queso early.
Yeah, but like a lot of these polls, they start off one way and then they go a totally different direction by the end of it.
We have had a lot of 28-3 comebacks on the text polls.
Zach on the stream says he's never had guac before.
I don't know how that's possible.
I mean,
respectfully, Zach, I don't know how the hell that's possible.
I bet there's some people out there who've never had queso before. I mean, it's also possible.
I don't know how.
Lactose intolerance.
Yeah, but that's different than I've never had queso.
Well, I just told you how. I mean, if you're lactose intolerant, you're not going to be eating queso. And maybe you don't like that little film thing that develops over there if you let it sit for like more than 30 seconds. Yeah,
and guac turns brown if you let it sit for 30 seconds.
No, not for 30 seconds.
You don't have the advantage
it takes an
here.
hour or so.
You don't have the advantage here you think you have.
Absolutely, there's an advantage.
With the film thing, which is, again, just cheese doing cheese things.
No, it's just weird.
That's what cheese does.
Yeah. If the water sits still, it doesn't develop a film over top.
Ladies and gentlemen, which one of the two of us are you going to trust on cheese?
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. You're
going to call me a 1%er, I'm going to lean the damn hell into it.
Okay, we're not talking about brie. We're not talking about we're not talking about fancy cheeses. We're talking about queso, which is not a fancy cheese.
It's cheese.
Yeah.
I don't discriminate.
We're not talking about cheddar cheese dip. We're not talking about any other kind. So don't go, well, I like cheese dip. No, we're specifically talking about queso. So you got to know what queso is.
Wait a minute.
And queso is usually not straight up cheese.
Queso.
A little something in it.
That can be added to it, but queso's queso. Now, I am also going to say part of this poll for me is that to me, queso is the more versatile dip. I can do more. I can put chicken into the queso. I can put pork. I can put sausage, chorizo. I can dump a gallon of hot sauce in it.
You can
put some sausage in it. All right. Corn Chip just texted the show and said, lactose intolerance does not stop the wife from having queso, cheese, or ice cream. I respect
all right, here's the thing.
that, Corn
Maybe
Chip.
you should stop her, Corn Chip. I mean, maybe you should say, hey, baby, you don't need to be doing that now.
Yeah, definitely, Corn Chip. Go home and say, hey, wife, you know that thing that you like? Don't do that.
Yeah,
you know that thing you like so much, you're willing to suffer for it?
Yeah,
You're willing to make people around you suffer for it? Stop doing that, wife. Let me know how that goes.
So I developed some problems, stomach problems, and I stayed away from the spicy stuff for a really long time.
When's the last time you said, Miss Lisa, don't do that thing?
Never. Yesterday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like, don't do that.
Miss Lisa, you don't have to listen to him. You live your best life, okay?
I only have her best intentions. It's
sure.
Not, I would like her to stay around a little bit. So, listen, if someone's lactose intolerant.
Okay, wait. There's a big difference between this thing will kill you versus this thing's going to stink up the car for a little while, or you're going to have to run and find a commode for a minute.
I don't know what the extent of lactose intolerance is. I don't know what the worst case scenario of lactose intolerance.
Worst case scenario is I go, Lonzo, you got to add like 2 minutes to this break. That's the worst case scenario. I got to see a man about a horse. I need you to add 2 minutes onto this break.
See,
that's the worst case scenario.
I don't know.
All right, 844-326-3663. Shoot us a text. Queso, Queso, or guac, Guac. Which is the superior dip? We are tabulating, and we will let you know at the end of the radio broadcast who it is that wins. I had a discussion yesterday. I wanted to bring this up. I had a discussion yesterday because it's combine season, baby. We had a group go yesterday, got a group going tomorrow. We got groups going out through the weekend. The boys getting out there, putting on the gym shorts and the tank tops, getting onto the field at Lucas Oil Stadium, putting down their 40 time, their shuttle cone time, running the thing where you got to catch a ball left, catch a ball right, catch a ball left, turn up and go. Like running the drills, right? Let's see.
I'm sure that thing has a name.
I'm sure it does. I don't know what it is. That's why I called it the left, right, turn up thing. It's combine season. Now, for those of us that are deep dive nerds, combine is a major holiday. I told Cole Bryan yesterday. Our buddy Cole Bryson, host of Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel.
Wow, you guys talk a lot. Oh, does Diesel know that you guys talk?
We're talking about the draft, man.
I mean, you guys.
I got to check in on Cole. He's a Cowboys fan, and I care about my friends and their mental health.
It's just a little weird. Okay.
It's not weird.
All right, okay. You and I don't talk about the combine. I bet you don't talk to Diesel about the combine.
You want me to text you and ask you who the...
Dude, you ain't texting me. If you text me, I know something's wrong. When you texted me last Sunday, I'm like, oh no, it's Rob. What's going on? And it wasn't. It was something about wrestling, and it was weird.
So I text you.
Because you never do.
I text you about our stuff. I wouldn't text Cole in the middle of WrestleMania and be like, hey, you think Cody's selling his soul?
Several messages from Keegan this week about how you don't text him back. So, I mean,
Texted Keegan and his wife yesterday to tell them thank you for the birthday wishes, okay? I'm a good person. Stop trying to make me seem like a bad person. I'm a good person. Anyway, I was texting Cole because I am very curious about his take on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys because, again, I care about the mental health of my friends, and if you're a Dallas fan, it ain't real good right now. I get it. I understand. I'm here for you.
Sounds like you're kind of rubbing it in.
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right.
I cover professional football. I like the input of professional football people. All right, and Cole Bryan is one of them. So, we were texting back and forth about the draft yesterday, and I was asking him, like, okay, is there anybody jumping out? Like, do you think the boys are going to be like making a play for a future QB if Trey Lance, like we were going back and forth about it. And we came to the realization that Cole Bryan and I text back and forth about like 4 topics. What did you talk about on your show that worked and didn't? Back and forth. Betting, because he's a sports wagertainment guy as well. NASCAR, who you got winning the race this weekend, and football, NFL football. That's what we talk about. And we came to the realization that we sent more texts back and forth yesterday about guys working out at the Combine than we sent back and forth in the days leading up to the damn Super Bowl. The Combine, to me, is like the 3rd biggest day on the NFL calendar. The 3rd biggest event on the NFL calendar. It goes Super Bowl, Draft, Combine. Those are the 3 days. And the Combine is special because in the Super Bowl, we're all entertained, but there's only 2 teams that go into that day with optimism.
I put the Combine above the draft for me.
Sure.
And it probably has to do with the team that I root for.
Because
they're always drafting really late, and it's
the combine is one of the biggest.
I know
3
you
days.
don't know how that is. Your team drafting really late.
I won a Super Bowl.
1997 or something.
20 bleeping years ago.
Okay, all right.
Not the point. Mickey Loomis, I'm looking for you. Hands, catch them.
Way to go, Schultz.
The combine is a fun event because it is effectively, even though the league new year starts on March 12th, for fans, I think this event is the first day that all 32 teams are hopeful, optimistic. If you're a fan of Dallas, Oakland, New Orleans, you look at the combine and you go, if we nail the draft, we got a chance. Any team can be good if you nail the draft because it means you're going to have a team full of youngsters that you got on rookie contracts. We got extra money to go elsewhere. It is a day of optimism because your entire franchise can turn around with one great draft. Your whole franchise can turn around. So it's a day of excitement and optimism. Well, yesterday afternoon, while I was working, the wife and the madre went out and had themselves a little girls' day out on the town. Went and got some mimosas, had a little breakfast downtown, yada, yada, yada. And we had a little event last night that we had to go to. And so the wife was like, why don't you catch a little siesta midday? Why don't you catch a siesta so you're not an absolute bum raging at the night when we go out this evening? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So I got home, settled in, took off the pants, laid in the bed, turned on the TV. And then I was like, oh, that's right, the combine. That's right. And I did not Z at all. I just plowed through the combine, right? So she comes in, and she's sitting on the edge of the bed while I'm like in my boxer shorts and a basketball jersey watching the combine like every generic 40-year-old husband on a sitcom you've ever seen. And she's like, are you watching dudes just like run? I was like, yeah, it's combine, baby. And not like baby, but like, yeah, baby. She's like, you're just watching dudes work out. I'm like, yeah. She's like, why? I was like, I don't know. Saints probably going to end up drafting one of these guys. I want to know what we're looking forward to. And she's like, are they going to call you and ask you? No. I mean, they should because I know ball, but they won't. Said it doesn't matter. I need to know. So when we draft a guy in April, coming up in a couple of weeks, 57 days from right now, when we draft a guy, they call him up to the stage, present him with his jersey. I'm going to be able to go, this guy is good at this, this, and this. Here were his numbers. I know what I'm in for. And she's like, that's real dumb. And I'm like, I don't care. It's the first day that we have optimism. And I kind of explained to her that, like, the combine is a big deal for football nerds because the combine is a day where fans of all 32 teams can watch these dudes do the damn thing and go, we got a shot here, fellas.
All right,
we got a shot.
I'm not trying to compare here, but my wife was like, oh, combine's on. Let's see what Jack Sawyer does. So, I mean,
listen, I told her, I was like, we can look at, because the Gamecocks got what, like 13 dudes at this combine?
And there was several yesterday during it was defensive tackles.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So I told her, I'm like, that was part of our conversation, was like, I watch it from an NFL perspective, which is I want to watch every dude from every college put up every number so that I can know on draft day, here's what these guys do. Just raw physical numbers, raw physical prowess. I was like, but for you, as a college football girl first, who likes the Saints via marriage, right? Like you like the Saints, but it's because you're married to me. She bought herself a Spencer Rattler Saints jersey. I really hope we hang on to that guy because she's going to be real upset if we don't. I was like, you can watch this and watch, like I can tell you exactly when all your Gamecock players are going to work out so you can see what they do and follow where they go and all that. She's like, oh, okay. But I think what sold her on sitting down and watching a little bit with me was I said, you know how miserable I was at the end of last football season as a Saints fan? She's like, yeah, it kind of got hard to watch games with you. Yeah, no, for sure. We suck. It's hard to be happy when you suck and you know you suck. I was like, today's the day that's the opposite. Today's the day I'm like, hey, if Mickey goes against the grain and actually drafts well, if Mickey goes and puts together the right class for us, if Mickey actually puts something on the sheet here, we might have a shot next year. Right? Like a good rookie class can change a franchise. Back-to-back rookie franchises put you right there in the Super Bowl picture. Today is the day, as a Saints fan, that I am born anew into the light of hope and optimism. And it's been a long, long time.
Wow.
Been a long, long time.
That was philosophical.
And accurate as hell. And y'all know it. What do you think I'm doing when I get home today? Remove pants, turn on television. It's all I want to do. I want to watch I want to watch dudes work out.
Well, it is Friday, and they'll replay it later. So if something happened and you'd be able to watch. You could also record it.
Unless I decide to go down to Clemson and watch some college baseball, because that's awesome too.
According to rumor yesterday, there might be some people who can run faster than.
There's like 3 guys that they have said could threaten the 40 record today.
Yeah, could threaten Worthy, and I just don't see that. But I want to watch and see it. Remember, that was a buzz last year.
Yeah,
when he hit that 4.22, everybody was like, didn't think it could ever be broken. Who had it before?
I don't remember
exactly.
There's like 2 or 3 guys that have claimed 4.41s. Claimed 4.41s. We'll find out today. I'm all in on that. My favorite thing yesterday, Pat McAfee showed Rich Eisen's 40 times year by year. That dude's remarkably consistent. He's like a 601 guy like every year. I think his worst was like 622 and his best was like 599, but he's always in that like 0.3 margin. And that's for like 16 years running. If I go outside and run a 40 right now, the only thing I'm pulling is a hammy.
Rob, come on. You think you could run 40?
I could do a 40. It would not be fast. Okay. I don't know that I'm not breaking 6. Right? I ran my best in high school was like a 4.80. I'm not doing that. I'm not breaking a 6 right now. I could do 40. I wouldn't want to publicize the time on it, but I could finish it. And I feel like that's all that matters. Sports Flash!
Yeah, as you get older, it becomes more of a fish story.
It's an endurance competition now.
Don Staley's Gamecocks have strung together a 3-game winning streak after 75-59 win over Ole Miss on the road. Sonia Fagan led all scorers. Chloe Kitts with 22 and added 6 boards. Sonia Fagan did well, with fellow starter Chloe Kitts dropping a triple-double with 16 points, 13 boards, and 10 assists, adding 4 steals and a block as well. Cleveland pass rusher Myles Garrett will not accept a contract extension from the Browns, according to reports. Cleveland.com reports that a source close to Garrett said the door is slammed shut, but that the Browns are still not expected to honor Garrett's trade request. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 1:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Wofford Terriers. It's Furman versus Wofford right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan Upstate. Did he say lie, man? Pretty sure he did. Sir Pickles.
Will you throw me in queue real quick so I can see how this plays?
The way that he
Got to remember to unmute it.
Shall I raise the fader?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, crud.
Somebody just suggested the Rob Brown Show versus Wire to Wire in combine events. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think we get smoked.
Yeah, well,
I think we get smoked. I'm not too proud to admit it. I think I could probably go toe to toe with Cole. I think Diesel would work all of us at everything.
I was a minute short because math is hard.
Math is hard.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
those are word strips.
10 years ago, I might have been okay. This ain't about you because you'd have to carry. I mean, combine events, no. I mean, all right. So, all right. There's some like the vertical. We're all beating Cole on that. I mean, I got one leg. I'm beating Cole on vertical. He's got a lot further to jump, and
I wonder if Cole could touch the ceiling.
ain't no way. Maybe if he was on Diesel's shoulders.
At you, then everything.
Hey, one word wrong is a trademark. So, you know. Cone drill, ain't none of us doing that. We're all turning an ankle. Was it the ball catching thing where you run and catch the ball, catch the ball, catch the ball?
Yep.
I think we might be able to compete at that.
I could do that. It'd just be real slow.
Yeah.
Texter said on the text line 844-326-3663, radio show competition idea. Every year the combine rolls around, the Rob Brown Show versus Wire to Wire in combine skills and strength drills. And I said on the stream, which you can watch at facebook.com/thefan-upstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Fan Upstate on Twitter, or the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Wire to Wire would kick the Rob Brown Show's ass, but it really just would be Diesel kicking everybody's ass.
But see, there's another thing, though. I mean, it depends on what position group we're doing. I mean, that's the thing. There are different drills for different position groups, and we're all different positions. So, I mean, there'd have to be a compromise as far as, like, maybe one drill from each position, because obviously I'm offensive or defensive line. You're probably receiver. Cole is kicker. And
Cole's a kicker.
And Diesel,
wow.
Diesel linebacker, maybe? I don't know.
Diesel's the Taysom Hill of the group.
Okay,
He's
all right.
plug and play anywhere.
Well, where would you put Cole?
Linebacker. Outside.
No.
Yeah, linebacker.
No.
Little stocky dude, we put a cowboy collar on that man. Put a face mask with 50 bars across the front.
Has he got goggles?
Give him some eye black.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, put a big old. He wouldn't even do like the eye black stripe. He'd be the dude that does like the Braveheart style.
All right, I'll give him this. Long snapper.
Wow. The absolute disrespect. The absolute disrespect. All right. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. It is time for the audio blitz. And I'm going to keep it a buck. This is probably going to go more than one segment because I got a lot of good stuff. Let's start with this one. Dan Morgan at the Combine. Of course he is. He's the general manager of the Carolina Panthers. He was doing an interview with CBS Sports and was asked about BY9.
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
The growth that we saw out of him this year.
Yeah.
What are you most pleased with?
The way that he handled the challenges last year, getting benched after the second week, and then returning and playing the way that he did, it just shows how resilient he is. It just shows how much he loves football and how much he loves competing. So to see him come back, I was like a proud dad. I love the kid. I can't wait to see what he does in the future. I think big things are ahead for him.
Okay.
Patted him on the head and say, "Way to go, champ! Good job."
You are a jerk.
Also, was that like the Chill Lounge? Welcome to the Chill Lounge.
Okay, so I was going to say this, and I'm glad you said that. Because on one hand, I was like, I kind of love this. Frankly, It's kind of adorable. My man dropped the "I was like a proud dad" on BY's head. And I like it. I like it. But then I'm like, do I like the sentiment, or was I just won over by the cheesy, sentimental piano music in the background? Social media content creators, I know you got to get trending. I know you got to go viral. It's kind of your job, and I get it. But we got to stop with the music under video clips. We got to stop. Like, that's a great clip from Dan Morgan, and I would love to use more of it. But when you throw the piano jazz lounge, no, I did that on purpose. When you throw
that he handled the challenges
that piano music under it,
getting benched after the second week,
the like inspirational movie montage piano.
It just shows how resilient he is.
Oh, I just like.
By the way,
it's such a great clip.
Cole is a queso guy.
Cole's queso guy.
He responded with a cheese emoji.
There it is.
So
there it is.
So we're right so far.
Queso is whooping Guac's ass right now. If you're keeping track, by the way,
and
it's not even close.
I think maybe you actually play that mood music while talking to Dan Morgan, because you know the look in his eyes, and you're afraid if you play some raging.
I gotta keep him calm.
If you play some raging metal, you're getting a totally different guy.
I gotta keep him chilled out. How do I keep Dan Morgan? Dan, tell us your thoughts on Bryce Young. Like some inspirational music in the background.
Immediately, the fire in the eyes just goes down to Cole's, and yeah.
All right, I love for whatever. Social media people, I need y'all to stop just dropping that cheesy ass piano music underneath everything, because it's like it's getting to be too much. All right, it's getting to be too much. I actually want to be able to listen to Dan Morgan, not sit there and feel like I'm watching the girl next door gets a makeover and turn into a smoke show movie.
I'm on an island.
Diesel a queso guy too?
Yes, we got 3 quesos and 1 guac.
Wow. All right, I got another one for you. I'm glad we got into the social media discussion, because one of the things that I very love is when social media staffs, and for the record, everybody has a social media staff now. It is kind of an obligation. If you're not going viral, you're not getting attention. Welcome to 2025. It's a dystopian nightmare. Joe Gibbs Racing is owned by Joe Gibbs. I know. It's cleverly named. Anyway, I'm Rob Brown from The Rob Brown Show.
Wait a minute. Joe Gibbs from football?
84-year-old Joe Gibbs. And, you know, as a social media guy, because that's what we are. We're radio hosts, but we're social media guys. Sometimes you got to do stuff that makes you a little uncomfortable. Sometimes you got to do stuff that makes you maybe feel like you're stepping out of line a little bit, so that you can get that ever so necessary social media attention. Like the social media staff, who very clearly gave a script to, again, 84-year-old Joe Gibbs to make a TikTok.
All right, besties. It's Joe Gibbs and Joe Gibbs Racing. Chat, who's ready for a tour? These are some of our trophies serving major flex. Slay. Now we're going to head downstairs where it's a no-riz zone. Slay. See those banners? Now they understood the assignment. Slay. The vibes of the shop floor are unmatched. Honestly, we keep it low-key, iconic in here. Losing gives me the ick. Slay. That's the T on Joe Gibbs Racing. Catch you on the podium, or at least in the comments. All right.
Slay.
All right, so here's the thing. I just want to you may get mad at me, but I'm guessing that there are kids, there are children out there who, when you use some of those words, think the same thing that we're both thinking about Joe Gibbs right now.
Oh, Pappy Gibbs, slay.
What's the deal with the slay thing?
Slay.
Is that because you don't even use slay? So you do use. You use Riz, which is just, it's uncomfortable when you say it.
I use Riz, I use Aura, I use Cap and No Cap. I'm still cool, man.
Are you?
I still got it, baby.
Okay.
It's like me and 84-year-old Joe Gibbs.
Who decides if you're cool? Do you decide that yourself, or does someone else let you know?
We're still cool, No Cap. Still got it. I'm still a dog.
Slay.
It's the best.
When he says slay, I think Santa's slay.
No,
I mean
SLAY.
Okay, like you're killing someone or
Yeah,
something?
but like it's like you
Like
know what
you
it is.
killed
You
it,
know what it
Slay?
is.
I killed it, Slay?
It's like the contemporary version of killing the game, son. I killed it, bro. Right? It's like I killed it, but the kids don't want to sound like us olds, so they made their own thing, which for the 2025s is Slay. Slay's been around for a hot minute though, or it used to.
Never heard it. I'm curious. Anyone who's listening right now, do your kids use the word slay in that way?
So, for the record, because I know this, because again, I still got it. Slay has been around for a hot minute. Like a couple years ago, Slay was in its peak, at its prime. And so you'd watch one of the shows and Beyonce would come out in her like $20 million dress and she'd look real good and people would be like, oh girl, Slay. That was when it was at its peak. Now it's still around. It's still hanging on. We haven't replaced Slay with anything else yet. It's on the way. But Slay was hot for a minute there. Slay. I just like 84-year-old Joe Gibbs dropping the Slay. Honest. Okay. Got a couple more things I want to get to. Jaylen Brown.
All right, by the way, the term slay has been used as slang since the 1500s. So all you people would think you're being cool. All you kids, it's been around since the 1500s. You ain't cool.
Dost thou slayeth, sir? I'm here for it. Jaylen Brown is a member of the Boston Celtics basketball team. Was on the team last year when the Boston Celtics raised another banner high into the rafters. They now have more of those championship banners than anybody else, and Jaylen Brown's got his name on one of them. So Jaylen Brown, and we are past the halfway point, but Jaylen Brown was talking about the championship celebration on Jimmy Fallon's show. And I want you to know, I got a new favorite basketball player.
I saw you tweet something that you said, how can I meet Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Yes.
Why Bill Nye the Science Guy?
I just grew up loving education, and he made learning fun. I know a lot of people probably feel the same way, but...
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, shout out to Bill.
Then he ended up coming and meeting you. So you actually did meet Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's the man. What did you end up talking about?
So I teach. I do have an MIT fellowship, and I've done lectures at Harvard. So I told him maybe we can do like a Bill Nye spinoff or something. I would love to
Really?
Yeah, I would love to do something in the educational journey, kind of like pass the torch and kind of take where he left off.
Jaylen, my cousin, Brown. My man said, I want an NBA title. I'm at the pinnacle of NBA basketball, and I want to meet and hang out and do a spinoff show with Bill, not the science guy, Bill. Why? In what world is a man with a Harvard education who wants to do an educational show for the cheering with Bill Nye the Science Guy worthy of a buzzer? How? Explain it. Quit buzzing me and tell me. 5!
Wow, listen. This thing was over Monday, so it's not like I took the loss Monday. I already knew that. Bill Nye he's a fraud.
How was he a fraud?
He's bogus. He's annoying. He's
what are you talking about?
I don't believe in anything he says.
As in what? All the guy's ever done.
All right, anything means anything. I'm not being specific. That means all the things he says, I don't believe in them.
So the guy who holds multiple patents and trademarks
on what?
On Boeing equipment that goes on airplanes to make them fly.
Not the stuff that fell off, right?
No, not those parts.
Okay.
Bill Nye's not responsible for that.
Okay.
That's Boeing taking the cheap way out, as far as I know. I better be real careful. Some weird stuff's been happening around them, okay? Just kidding, Boeing, okay? Bill Nye is a mechanical engineer with a fistful of degrees. The guy knows what he's talking about, all right? No, he's not a chemist. No, he's not whatever. I'm just saying the man is responsible for my love of science. Bill Nye, the science guy. I respect you, Jaylen Brown. You're my dog. You're now my new favorite non-New Orleans Pelicans basketball player.
Okay, so he has a patent on an educational lens. Obviously, I need that because I can't say the word. A throwing technique trainer. Don't know what that is. And a digital abacus. Because who wants to use a physical abacus? We could use a digital one. Wow, all those things have helped the world.
What do you have a patent on?
I don't have a patent, and neither do you.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm not the one out here disparaging Bill Nye the Science Guy. The foundation for the love of science for many children my age.
And his bow ties look stupid and don't match his clothes.
If that's the best dig you got, I think I'm giving the point to Bill Nye the Science Guy on that one.
Don't make me call security.
All right. Okay, that's weak, Rappo. That's weak. All right, here's a couple more that I want to get to before we run out to the break here in just a couple minutes. We're going to keep going after that. I heard this one's a little bit old. I don't care. I just saw it for the first time the other day. You know, Jameis Winston was down at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, running around for Fox Sports, just being Jameis Winston and providing the world with unlimited social media content. Apparently, they set Jameis up to watch the Super Bowl in the arena with Bert Kreischer, the stand-up comedian, a.k.a. The Machine, if you've ever seen his clips.
Never heard of him before. Right. Is he an older guy, younger guy?
Nah, he's between us. He's a little older than me, a little younger than you. He does a podcast with Tom Segura called Two Bears, One Cave. If you're tuned into the algorithm, these guys are all over the place. I like Kreischer. I'm more of a Tom Segura guy, but I do like Kreischer. He has his moments. He's the stand-up comedian. If you've ever seen the big fat guy takes his shirt off to do his stand-up comedy, you've seen him around.
No, okay. That doesn't sound attractive to me. I can
he's not an attractive man.
I would say I do that every morning. So anyway.
He was watching the Super Bowl in the Superdome, brother, with Jameis Winston, and they had one of my favorite football interactions I've ever heard.
Terrifying. It is, man. I think special teams in general is very terrifying. Especially, can you imagine? Imagine looking at the moon, and you have 11 ostriches running at you full speed, and you have a piece of corn on the bottom of your cheek. I can't imagine that. I mean, I can't imagine it, but I can't imagine. You're looking at the moon. You got some corn on your chin and 11 ostriches. Do ostriches eat corn? I don't know. Yeah. And they also disembowel you with their claws. They cut you open from the center like dinosaurs. What? Yeah, they did it to Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash? He got almost died by an ostrich. I think. You may want to Google that, yeah.
Okay. Saw a couple of things out of that clip.
It's all about the delivery, man. You can convince anybody of anything if you do it right.
Here's the thing. The Johnny Cash ostrich story is legitimate.
No way.
Is legitimate. Early 1980s, Johnny Cash, living at a farm in Hendersonville, Tennessee, had a variety of exotic animals, including a particularly aggressive ostrich, goes the story. One day, while walking in a field where the ostrich roamed, Cash encountered the bird, which had a history of being territorial. The ostrich, standing about 6 feet plus tall, attacked him. It struck him in the stomach with its powerful legs, causing serious injury. The kick broke 5 ribs and left him with internal bleeding. Cash joked that he survived because he was wearing a thick leather jacket which softened the blow. The injury, however, caused him severe pain and led to an increase in painkiller usage, which would ultimately contribute to his ongoing struggles with substance abuse at the time. Despite the attack, Cash maintained his love for animals and shared the story with humor in interviews throughout his career and in his autobiography.
So Johnny Cash had to go to rehab because of an ostrich.
Basically.
Wow.
I would also point out
that
we got Johnny Cash's rendition of Hurt because of it. And that's one of the greatest songs and performances of all time.
Thank you, Ostrich, I guess?
I guess Thank You, Ostrich. That is somehow more entertaining than Jameis Winston describing returning a punt as looking up at the moon with a piece of corn on your chin and 11 ostriches running at you. That's how Jameis got asked, describe catching and returning a punt, and his answer was, it's like having a piece of corn on your chin, looking at the moon, and having 11 ostriches attack you. And he's like, can you imagine that? And Bert Kreischer's like, no, I can't imagine being attacked by 11 ostriches in the pale moonlight with a piece of corn on my chin. Of course, I can't imagine that. That is a drug-induced fever dream, Jameis.
And also, do ostriches eat corn?
Jameis literally asked that in the clip. He's like, I don't know if they eat corn, but
yeah, because that was my first thought through the whole thing.
It's fair.
What does an ostrich eat? I don't know. A grass, maybe.
What do ostriches eat? We're listen. much like with Bill Nye, we're all on an educational
We're more
journey
educational
here
than
today.
Bill Nye ever was.
Grasses, that's just factually incorrect. Grasses, seeds, leaves, flowers, fruits, insects, small reptiles, and occasionally rodents. They also swallow small pebbles and sand to help grind and digest their food since they lack teeth. Here's another fun thing I learned yesterday that Alonzo's 100% going to Google image during the break. Goats don't have top teeth. That's the best response to that I've ever heard.
No,
I know it was part of the song, but it could have worked out better. Goats don't have top teeth.
I'm going to go home and play Goat Simulator and see if it. That's more scientific to me.
Goats don't have top teeth. And
By
also,
the way,
Bill Nye is a wonderful man, an inspirator, an educator. I love you, Bill Nye. You're the best. Keep doing what you're doing.
Best science guy ever on TV in the history
God,
of
I'm
man.
so terrified where you're going.
Dr. Julius Sumner Miller.
Famous that none of us know who he is, and everybody knows
because
Bill
he's
Nye.
an actual scientist. Dr. Julius Sumner Miller. Look it up.
Carl Sagan is the right answer, but we'll talk about that later on. I didn't know this is where this segment's going. Got more sound when we come back. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Fridays.
When I was winning physics awards back in the day, Dr. Julius is what we watched.
I got to look this cat up.
Got awesome eyebrows. That's all I'm saying.
Give me 30 seconds, guys. Be right back. I'm going to go post about how much I love Bill Nye the Science Guy. Texter just said guac equals cat yak. There, I said it.
Wait a minute. Cat yak.
Cat yak.
So you don't like healthy things, apparently, Texter. If anything looks like yak, it's cheese sauce.
No.
It looks like bird poo. I mean, come on.
And guac looks like cat yak, which is why you don't judge
All
your
right,
food
I
based on
gotta admit,
appearance.
I do have a cat, but I've never seen the cat throw up, and hopefully I won't.
You are doing real well then. Because I'm cleaning up cat hairballs like once a week.
Okay.
Guac or queso? That's our question of the day on the text ball because it's Friday and we don't care. 844-326-3663 is the number. Start your text if you wish to vote in our debate over Mexican food restaurant dip superiority. Guac, G-U-A-C, queso, Q-U-E-S-O. Text one of those two words, and you can text more if you want, but start your text with either queso, Q-U-E-S-O, or guac, G-U-A-C. Start your text with your vote. What is the superior Mexican restaurant dip?
All right.
I am Team Queso, Lonzo's Team Guac.
All right, and your scenario that you put about earlier in the show, like in 6 o'clock hour, this is perfect for me because when we have our constant station meetings where we all get together once a week and go to a restaurant, we haven't been to a Mexican restaurant yet. When we do go, when me and you and Wire to Wire go to a Mexican restaurant, you guys are all eating queso, rather.
Queso.
And queso.
Getting you a big old bowl of queso.
Depending on where we is.
Maybe put a little chorizo in there.
And I am going to have the guac all to myself. So that works out good for me.
I've never met a queso guy that doesn't get his own queso though. Like I'm if we go and I'm like, yo, I'll get some queso, and somebody else at the table's like, I'll get some queso too. I'm like, I'll go ahead and take my own bowl.
I mean,
thank you very much.
Because Cole's a double dipper, we all know that, for sure. Okay, out of all of us,
I would not be shocked about that.
Yeah.
In a weird way, I would not be shocked by that.
Diesel will want to go Schultz on you if you do that, for sure.
Queso or guac, what is the superior dip? 844-326-3663 is the text line. Send in your text and start that text with either guac, G-U-A-C, or queso, Q-U-E-S-O. What's the superior dip? I'm going to tell you right now, queso is kicking the crap out of guac right now. It's not even right now, and there's a lot of time between here and 10 o'clock. Right now, it's not even a competition.
I have L's on occasion. I know how to take it.
That's fine.
I'm good. I mean, these things usually are a little more even. And again, with your scenario that you put out in the first hour, that means more guac for me. All right, you guys all love queso. Good. Bring me the guac. Bring me the fresh guac. Bring me the guac stand that come out and they do the guac fresh in front of you.
Tableside guac.
Yeah, they're not going to do that with queso because, you can't. So
Don't need you to. All right.
That queso has been sitting back there for like 3 years eating it because cheese has to be aged. So you're eating 3-year-old stuff. That guac is nice and fresh.
Texter said the poll isn't really fair unless you spend time on the West Coast where the guacamole is made with the most delicious ingredients. So, hands down guacamole for the win. I will say this. In the fight that started all of this, which was me and Cody Decker on our Saturday show, Bet for the Cycle, which airs every Saturday from noon to 4 on the BetMGM network. You can listen to it tomorrow. I'm sure this will come up. Deck is a California kid, born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Played his college baseball with the UCLA Bruins before he got to the big leagues. He has said the same thing. He's like, Rob Brown, unless you come out and you have guac in Cali, you can't understand. Ladies and gentlemen, your boy's been to Mexico like a dozen times. I've had guac in the place where guac comes from. I've had guac in Mexico. And I would like to point out that preferring queso to guac doesn't mean I don't love guacamole. I'm a big guac guy. If I go to a party and there's guac and there's queso, I'm taking a little bit of both, but I'm coming back for more cheese.
You peasants, I have been to where
I'm just saying.
where they created guac.
No.
I was there.
Because that's exactly what these people are doing. Rob, you ain't been to California. You don't know. Buddy, I've been to Mexico. I've been to the Guac Central. You can hit the buddy clip. I'll drop it again. I have been to Mexico, where the avocados come from that turn into the guac with the finest ingredients. I have been at the heart of Guacland. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's very, very good. It's very, very good. I like guacamole a lot. But cheese dip is the superior. It's got more versatility, adaptability, reliability. I've had plenty of times I've gone and gotten guac, and it's like, this isn't really that good. I've never gotten cheese dip and been like, huh, unless they send it out cold, but that's a fixable solution. That's a fixable problem. All right?
What, do you like carry a sterno in your pocket or something?
No, I go, ma'am, cheese dip's cold. Can I get a heater? And they'll go, absolutely not a problem. Because you can just throw
She
that
just
bad
comes
boy,
over and breathes on it.
throw
There
it
you
right
go. It's
into the
hotter now.
microwave, stir it up a little bit. It's back to good. You know what you can't do that with? Guacamole.
You're right, because you don't need to be heating the guacamole.
Also that, not a point. Okay. One of my favorite things that comes out around combine time every year is when teams start dropping video of players from combines gone past answering questions in their interviews, right? Like they'll sit a guy down, he's going to meet with the GM and the head coach and the team doctors, and they put you through the paces. They ask you questions. They ask you about football. They ask you about yourself. They ask you about life. They ask you about philosophy. They ask you who you are, who you think you are, who you want to be, where you think you're going, where you've been. They're very introspective. They want to know everything about you. And sometimes they drop some pretty interesting stuff. Here, for instance, Detroit Lions tight end Sam Laporta in his meeting with the Lions at his combine.
Hey, do you have good hands?
I think I have great hands, yeah.
10 being the best, you'd rate him a 10?
That's tough. You'd like to think so, but I feel like I can be better at, especially like highballing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can be better, but I think I'm definitely a security blanket for the quarterback. I'd say probably an 8.
You catch a ball over your head with a safety coming at your ribs?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I've put that on film before, yeah.
You like run blocking?
I enjoy run blocking, yeah. Physically dominating somebody.
You feel like you're a complete tighty, you can do a little bit
I
of
do,
everything?
yeah. I think I'm extremely versatile.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm tough enough to stick my nose in, but also finesseful enough to get open and create separation. And
yep.
Finesseful. I love it.
Yeah, but you already heard you go. You keep looking at that clock.
I don't know. I just keep seeing it tick.
You're sweating.
I bet I am. You're trying to do well.
Here we go.
We're putting everybody through the ringer.
Why should Coach draft you?
I'm a locker room guy. I think I mesh well with really any locker room. Not to mention that I'm a damn good football player, too.
What?
You ain't gonna have no problems with me.
Ain't gonna have no problems with me. I love it. I love everything about that clip. I like that it seems insightful. It seems honest. It seems both like walking that line between humble and braggadocious. Like, I'm a damn good football player. You're not going to have any problems with me. I wouldn't say my hands are a 10 out of 10. I see room for improvement. But I'm also versatile as... Oh, I missed my button. Versatile as... I can get my nose in there and cause some... I like that. That's a football answer from a football guy.
I think the answer would have been to throw up and go, here's 10, but these go up to 11.
I mean, yeah, again, but here's the thing. If I'm a coach, I am looking for a locker room guy. I'm looking for some guy with a little humility that I'm not going to expect to come in there and become a cancer, which we've seen especially out of skill position players over and over. I like all that. Let me give you another answer that I really love. Jalen McMillan, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He got asked, what's your hobby?
We do for fun. This may sound weird, but I like to go to the grocery store, and you know how they have those off-brand cereals that are like the weird kinds? I'll collect those, and I'll try those, and then I'll go to the grocery store and get like different potato chip flavors. For example, last week I had avocado vanilla, and it was disgusting, but I mean...
Avocado vanilla potato chip?
Avocado vanilla, yeah, potato chip. I'll do that. Nah, it was terrible.
You do that by yourself?
Yeah, I'll do that by myself.
I honestly said I've never heard anybody say do that as a hobby.
You know, it's kind of weird.
My man said, I got one more. It's only 13 seconds. Can I get one more in here? I got one more. I love that answer from Jalen McMillan, but then there's former Buffalo Bills offensive lineman Trey Adams.
If you can change anything about yourself, what would it be?
My man got asked if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And he told an NFL coaching staff he was hoping was going to draft him, I wish I had... Yeah. Let's call it personal growth.
I enjoyed the coach's response.
Just like,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, in fairness, I feel like that's a pretty common answer amongst most men. All right? My man said personal growth of a specific kind. And the coach was like, appreciate the honesty, Trey. Appreciate the honesty. Back after this, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
I'm pretty sure one slipped through. That's why.
I don't think it did, but I'm fine with this.
To me, I heard the word. So that's why I did it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Shouldn't be. You're the one who did it, but it would be my
I felt like I got them all.
Yeah,
But if you felt like one slipped,
I felt like I heard it underneath. Like maybe you just put the beep over and didn't actually cut out the word.
No, so the way I do it, the beep covers everything. I'm interested because, like, I'm gonna play the Kachuk brothers clip from New Heights. I really like what they do, in that they're clearly recording Travis, Jason, and both Kachuk brothers on different channels because they're able to beep Travis's mic. So if somebody else is talking and Travis drops an F-bomb, the person who's talking audio keeps going. They can just bleep Travis.
By the way, you say if. I mean, he does it like every other
when
word.
Travis
Yeah.
drops an F-bomb.
Yeah.
They can bleep his channel, but let the person talking continue over it, which I think is great.
He got worse with it once he started dating Taylor Swift. I don't know why that is. I mean,
I think he got comfortable. I think he once he became for a hot minute there. I don't know that he still is, but for a hot minute when he started, he was America's sweetheart. And I think he got real comfortable that no one said a bad word, that he's like, I just be unbridled myself now. And I think you combine that with the raging success of Pat McAfee, and it's like, oh, I can do that, which is where the pod came from, and I can just be myself. Like, I have no problem. I asked Hendrix the other day, could I start a my own like late night uncensored McAfee style pod, and he was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to push back on it. But I think the fact that America has shown its comfort level and whatever, as long as you're a character, he doesn't care anymore.
so you think that your podcast levels would be higher than the podcast for this show?
Yes.
Because you're cursing.
Not because I'm cursing, but because I'm completely unrestrained and unrestricted, yes.
So cursing.
I mean, is part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
So you're saying that the only thing this show is missing, that the numbers would go up if you were allowed to curse.
I think it would be, to me, and this is just a subjective opinion, to me, when I hear someone talking like that, it is an auto click in my brain that this person is being entirely authentically themselves. And for whatever reason, I gravitate towards that type of broadcaster. It's not for everybody. It's why you got, Rich Eisen, who is calm, cool, and collected at all times over here, biggest pod in the world, and Pat McAfee, who is unbridled and unhinged and unrestricted over here, and they are both making tens of hundreds of thousands of billions of dollars.
Well,
I think
probably
people
not billions,
gravitate-
but
I think people gravitate towards certain styles of broadcasters, and I think
Hey,
being able to talk to the way
I'm
I
going
talk
to
to the boys in the bar
gravitate
would
over
be it.
here.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo with you, rolling through the third hour of the radio broadcast. Got a little bit more sound that I want to get for you here. I got two clips featuring Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk's one of my favorite players of all time. I've told this story before. I've owned in my life 3 NBA player jerseys. I've earned 3. Chris Paul's OG New Orleans Pelicans jersey, the mustard yellow, New Orleans Hornets jersey, as they were still the Hornets when CP3 was there. Chris Paul's mustard yellow Hornets jersey. Michael Jordan's red and black number 23 Chicago Bulls jersey. And the third jersey I've ever owned was the Dirk Nowitzki gray Dallas Mavericks jersey. I like Dirk so much, I wear a shirt that says Dallas on it because I like Dirk more than I hate Dallas. Dirk Nowitzki has been on a podcast tour lately. 2 clips I got. First off, Dirk and Shaq Now, Dirk Nowitzki, if you are unaware, is married to an African-American woman. She's a beautiful woman. Married to a black lady, Dirk Nowitzki is. And on a podcast, on the Our Generation podcast, the host had Dirk and Shaquille O'Neal together, which turned out to be comedy gold. And the host asked Shaq, did you know and when did you find out that Dirk Nowitzki was married to a black lady? And Shaq lost his mind.
Shaq, you first. When you heard that Dirk's wife was black, did that change your perspective on him? And I'm curious, Dirk, how did the rest of the team treat you? Because I feel like people treat you completely different when they find that information out.
I found out accidentally, and I don't know if Dirk knows this, but we all leave the same way. So one day it was this gorgeous person standing back there, and I was like, oh. It's like, that's Dirk's wife. I was like, oh, okay, my bad. But after that, I knew that he was down. I knew that he liked the chocolate. I knew that he likes the chocolate, boss. Yes, I knew that it was good.
I was getting made fun of a bunch because, every home game was bringing that to-go plate. And so on social media, the cookout, I was invited to every cookout.
I love that so much. My man said I was getting beat up by the boys because I'd show up to every home game with a to-go plate. I'll tell you right now, there is nothing better in the world from than finding a to-go plate. Like somebody loading you up with a good to-go plate. And if you got
okay,
a lady,
so this isn't a metaphor or anything. We're talking actual food here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because I thought it might have meant something else.
My man said, I got invited to the cookout. Now, the phrase, I got invited to the cookout, has some implications. It means positivity in race relations. All right, getting invited to the cookout, it's a badge of honor. It's a medal of honor. My man Dirk said, I got the permanent invite to the cookout. That's incredible. Dirk also got asked another question, and I got to tell you, I already like Dirk Nowitzki. Now I liked him even more.
Childhood crush. Oh, shoot. Childhood crush. The 90s. Was it Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown?
Yeah, exactly.
My man said childhood crush, Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown.
Okay, I was waiting for him to say Topanga so you could pass out on the thing. By the way, big fallout between Topanga and her co-host.
I saw that.
Yeah. I don't really know who they are too much other than the fact that you guys have mentioned it because I'm old. But it looked very fiery, apparently.
There's some drama between Topanga and I forget the other girl's name. It doesn't matter what her name is because I'm like Team Topanga no matter what happened. All right? No matter what happened. Apparently the other lady, now this girl played Rachel in Boy Meets World, the college years, which, okay, cool. Like most of us were pretty much out by the college years, right? But she played Rachel in Boy Meets World, the college years, and apparently, Topanga got married not too long ago, and this lady went to send Topanga, Danielle Fisher, a congratulations Facebook message, and she found out that she got unfriended and blocked on Facebook, which is the ultimate disrespect. The ultimate disrespect. And they got beef now. So apparently, this lady reached out to have the conversation with Topanga, and Topanga was like, can we do this? Can we just do this off air? And she's like, no, I want it in public. I want it on the podcast. And then it just turned into a whole thing. I'm not convinced it's not a work. I'm not convinced it's not a work. Okay, let's get a couple more things out of here. J.J. Watt has bought in and is a partial owner of a soccer team called Burnley that is over in England. And he made a deal that could impact all of us as NFL fans.
Okay, now explain this soccer bet that's going on here.
Yeah. It was started as a literal joke. So, obviously, I talk to the guys on our team all the time. James Trafford, our keeper, literally, he'll be the England #1 keeper someday. He's that good. And he messaged me one day. We were talking about the Steelers-Bengals because obviously my brother plays on the Steelers, and he was messing with me, and he said, hey, do you fancy coming out of retirement and playing for the Bengals? Being a smart ass, I said, yeah, you don't give up another goal the rest of the season, I'll come out of retirement and play for the Bengals. There were 28 games left at the time. Next game, he didn't give up a goal, so I messaged him again, and I said, hey, you're really taking this serious, huh? And he was like, I really want you to play for the Bengals. So 2 games later, 2 more games with no goals. I messaged him back. I said, all right, it's getting a little ridiculous now. Do you think you can make it the whole way? And he goes, how do you eat a whale? 1 bite at a time. So he just, and now here we sit, and we're 13 games later, and he has not given up a goal in 13 games. He's beaten every record along the way. There's only 1 record left that he hasn't broken in the history of English football, which is old as hell. He is setting records. It's getting pretty serious. We've created a lot of Claret fans in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is really cool. We're getting a lot bigger ratings and numbers from the Ohio region, so it's been really fun.
Okay, do you have a game plan? Let's say he doesn't give up a goal.
I'll do it. If he does that, which is insane, I mean, there's 12, 13 games left. If he does it, it's insane enough and respectful enough that I will absolutely follow through, and I'll go out there. Who knows if they even want me? I don't even know. I haven't talked to him. I'm in shape. I'll go play.
Contractually, you're not obligated to the Texans or anybody?
No, I don't even know how. I didn't even think that far ahead. Like, how do you unretire? What is there? I never filed retirement paperwork. So does that mean I have to file paperwork to get back in? Technically, I would assume I'm a free agent.
Yeah, we need to work on that.
So he made a deal.
He's not, though, right? If he was under contract when he retired and he didn't file the paperwork, then he's still under contract.
I don't know. And the beautiful part about all of this to me is that there may be some of you this doesn't apply to, but I think every one of us has made an I bet you that blank bet after a couple too many at the bar one night. I bet you that blank, that you won't, that I will, that I can, that you can't. And then you got called to the carpet. Every one of us has made that. My dude said, if you don't give up a goal through the remaining 23-ish games of the top-notch professional soccer league in England, if you don't give up a goal, I'll come out of retirement and play for the Bengals. The Bengals, Cincinnati, the team you want me to play for. And, dude, Burnley has been on a defensive heater. They have not allowed a goal in weeks now, to the point that it's like, oh, damn, they might do it. And now JJ's sitting there like, I made a bet. I'm going to assume, probably after knocking back a couple of pints at the Old English pub over there in the UK, made a bet after knocking back a couple of pints of Smittix, and is now like, okay, let's do this, I guess. Let's do this. For the record, JJ Watt comes out to the Bengals. Maybe their defense doesn't suck. That'd be great. I'm in for that.
Although, as you know, if he suddenly gives up a goal, wouldn't be surprised if maybe someone gave him some extra money to go ahead and give up a goal so he doesn't have to go play for Cincinnati. Maybe somebody.
I mean, maybe. Or this cat goes, I'm a Bengals guy. We ain't got no defense. I'm a professional soccer player. I'm good on money. Maybe. I go, bleep that, JJ Watt. I want to see you in orange and white, pal. I want to see you in those icy whites in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm going to be honest. I got nothing for or against Burnley. I am team shutouts for the rest of the year. I want to see J.J. Watt have to live up to this and come out of retirement to play with Joey B.
How many games do they have left?
They only have like 10 left, which, again, is a lot to not give up a goal. But they also haven't given up a goal since, as Joey B has reported, big soccer guy in the chat, since before Christmas. It is March. Tomorrow. It's March. They haven't given up a goal since Christmas. That's not that much left. They only got like 4 weeks left? They've already done that.
So JJ, thinking he's going to be motivational, says this thing, and then
now the guy's happens. Like, hell yeah. I'm here for it.
But so I'm guessing they've won all those games?
I mean, they could also draw it in soccer.
Yeah,
it could be some, I'm sure there's a handful of 0-0 results in there. And that's okay, because that's soccer, baby. Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, arguably the two most famous hockey brothers on planet Earth, recently joined the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelsey, the two most famous football brothers on planet Earth. Now, of course, Jason and Travis, being Jason and Travis, they didn't want to talk about the hockey game. They didn't want to talk about Team USA v. Canada on ice with a puck, with sticks, with blades. No. They wanted to ask the Tkachuk brothers about dropping gloves and throwing fisticuffs 3 seconds into a hockey game. Listen to the hockey bros be hockey bros.
What led up to that right off the first face-off fight happening, Matthew?
You know, we knew it was going to be an intense game, and me, Brady, and Millsy were talking before about it potentially if there were going to be some scraps, doing it right away.
Maybe, if the feeling's right,
But to be honest with you, it was all joking around until like right before we went out for the anthem. And then I was just like, Brady, I'm going to ask whoever's lined up on their left side to fight. And then the guy I asked fought me. And then Brady, I guess, went right over to the bench.
Calling for it mid-fight.
Yeah, calling for it mid-fight. It made me very proud to be playing for that team during that moment.
Yeah, man.
See how united we were in like I said, a hostile environment. At the end of the day, it's, a fight's a fight. You're going there to beat the other guy up. But I think it was more than that. It was more to show your teammates, we got this.
I gotta say, I was way more nervous for Matthew fighting, and then when I saw him start to throw, I was like, "Oh, here we go!
Let's go, boys!
Let's go, boys!"
I was listening to the crowd too every time he was throwing. I was like, "Okay, I don't even know if I can wait till the next whistle. Like, I gotta grab somebody now. I can't wait. Can't wait any longer."
That's so bad, man.
I love it. I love it. So those fights, 3 seconds into the game. Just to be clear, what I said 2 weeks ago when we talked about this, the point of those fights had no impact on the score of the game. That was 100% about setting tone, right? That was 100% about, look, we are out here to whoop your Canuck behind. And the Canucks came out and said, all right, Yanks, 51st state this, suckers. Those fights, and I said this, I don't know if I made it clear. Those fights aren't fights because the boys were chirping at each other on the ice before it was go time. Those fights were fights because they skated to center ice for the face-off and they straight up not said, I'm going to come over there and fight you.
Yeah, I'm disappointed, though. I mean, because he said, I'd said to the guy, do you want to fight?
Yeah.
I mean, you just do it. You don't go, hey, we're going to fight.
No. Because that's
a work.
If you try to fight a guy without telling the other guy you're going to fight the guy, that's jumping the guy. There's no respect. There's no honor in that. Saying, hey, you, me, drop gloves, let's go. And the other guy going, hell yeah, bud. I don't know what this is all about, but I'm in. And you both drop gloves and throw fisticuffs to try to separate chiclets from jaws. That's honorable. That's respectable. You're now taking or giving an ass whooping for your country. That is honorable. I respect that take. 3 of them went up to 3 Canadian players and said, do you want to go, bud? Do you want to go? We're in your country. This is your barn. Do you want to go? And 3 Canucks. And by the way, this is great because this is kind of that, this to me is the definition of sports. We drop a puck, guy goes, 3 seconds. Oh, by the way, do you want to fight? Do you want to throw fist in the name of Canada versus me in the name of the United States? And a Canuck said, absolutely. Then 3 seconds later, Matthew's brother says, well, I'm going now too. And another Canuck said, hell yeah, in the name of the Queen, eh? Drop gloves, let's go. Then Millsy gets involved. A third guy says, gloves off. Do you want to scrap, pal? Absolutely do, bud. Let's go. Drop gloves and do it again. This was the single most electrifying thing that has happened in sports this year. I still can't get over it. And then I listened to the Kachuk bros who were like, I was calling for the next fight mid-fight. When my brother was scrapping, I was already skating towards the nearest maple leaf I could find, like, you and me next, pal? And they said, absolutely, let's go. Hockey is amazing. Hockey's there's no other sport that this happens. Like outside of mixed martial arts, there's no other sport that this happens. Could you imagine if we got to the game? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It's the Thunder and the T-Wolves tonight. The ref throws the ball in the air, and SGA and Ant Edwards square up and start throwing haymakers at each other. And then after the game, they're like, yeah, we talked about it. We decided we were going to rep. We decided we were going to go. Could you imagine if we got to the Olympics next year and Braun and Rudy Gobert started swapping elbow strikes at each other in the name of club and country? Never going to happen. In hockey, it happened 3 times in 9 seconds between 6 dudes who agreed, let's fight. Let's just fight. Let's just set the tone for our clubs and hockey's amazing. It's the best. There's no other sport I'm even okay with fighting, for the record. Right? No other sport, any other sport. Guys start throwing fists. I'm like, what are we doing here, boys? What are we doing? Knock it off. Hockey, they start throwing fists, and I'm like, Why are you watching anything else? Why is there anything else on a TV in America right now when the Kachuk bros are going DX to Canada on it?
I'm okay with fighting in water polo. I'm just going to put that out there.
Bro, that is the one sport I can tell you right now, I won't even try. Nope, good, I'm out. If I'm in a pool, it's with a floaty and a Mai Tai and nothing else. I have nothing to add. Sports Flash.
Wow. The NFL salary cap will be set at $279.2 million this year, the highest in league history, and an increase of $23.8 million over last year. The increase is a result of NFL media deals, which have increased revenue over recent years and possibly Taylor Swift sightings. I don't know. The NFL franchise tag deadline is Monday at 4, and free agency negotiating begins March 10th at noon. All teams must be under the cap by 4 p.m. on March 12th. The start of the league's new year. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce will run it back one more time in 2025. Kelce announced yesterday on the Pat McAfee show via text message that the Super Bowl loss to Philadelphia left a bad taste in his mouth, telling McAfee, "I can't go out like that." Tune in tomorrow at 1:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Wofford Terriers. It's Furman versus Wofford right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, upstate.
Texter said, surprise, the 1%er drinks fruity umbrella drinks in the pool. Yeah, and they're delicious.
I sent you two things on.
I saw the game controller.
That's cool. Did you see the one above it, though? The one above it is a tell of the tape between Schultz and Rappaport.
Okay.
Apparently, McAfee did it. I just missed it yesterday. There is a major height and weight difference.
Too Schultzy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a couple of inches?
So, oh, no, you need to look at it. It's a bully move. Exactly what I said it was. You nip this thing in the bud so we don't have this problem going forward.
What thing and what problem? Schultz and
Yeah,
Rappo?
yeah, because it
Put him in the cage.
it could lead to some bad things.
Let's go full Kachuk brothers.
Wonder if I ice my head, would it make my headache stop? Just ice the base of my skull.
LAFB.com is currently reporting that everything except compensation is on the table now, or an agreement has been reached on everything but compensation, which is kind of the biggest point to send Matt Stafford to the Raiders.
Well, I just saw a report that he's meeting with the Rams today.
Stafford?
Yes.
That's looking like it might be.
Thought they couldn't do that kind of stuff before.
They can negotiate with permission from teams. Can't negotiate with people that don't have full permission.
Okay.
We have what may turn out to be a very interesting development taking place right now in the National Football League. It also may be complete to crap. We're going to find out over the next little while. But more than a couple of sources led by LAFB.com. And I will tell you that I found this about 26 seconds before we came back onto the air. So this is completely unvetted by yours truly, which makes it irresponsible of me to even bring it up on the radio. However, it does play into something that we talked about earlier, so I do think it is worth at least a cursory glance, and we'll vet the story as we go. LAFB, along with at least one other source that I have found so far, is claiming that an agreement has been at least tentatively formed between the Los Angeles Rams and the Las Vegas Raiders that would send Matt Stafford out to Vegas. The issue is that they have not agreed on compensation yet, which is, kind of the main thing in a trade, is like what I'm trading and also what you are trading. So that's kind of an enormous deal. But according to a couple of sources, the conversation is taking place right now between the Rams and the Raiders. Lonzo said, after I said that during the break on our live stream, which you can find at facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, The Fan Upstate on YouTube, The Fan Upstate on Twitter, The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Lonzo said that he has now seen on a couple of different social media pages, I believe, that Matt Stafford is meeting with the Los Angeles Rams today. They do have a scheduled meeting betwixt the one-time Super Bowl champion quarterback who won his championship in Los Angeles and the organization itself. What we know is the holdup right now is that Matt Stafford wants a contract that is north of $50 million a year. The Rams want to give him closer to the range of $39-40 million per year. It's a separation of $10 million-ish per year, but likely would be a contract that would be at least a couple of years. There was a report earlier this week that Tom Brady has been doing a little courting of Matthew Stafford, including bringing him up to his lodge in Montana. Now, Brady's camp yesterday refuted that claim, said that has not happened. That is not true. That is an exaggeration, and that is falsehood. However, they did not deny that the two have talked. So, the Rams did give, so that we are very clear, because this is kind of the exclamation point that needs to be thrown onto this conversation. The Rams did give Matt Stafford and his camp permission to seek a trade. That does allow them to go out and have conversations with other teams, other owners, and other teams' minority owners, like Tom Brady. So the conversation is allowed to take place between Stafford and the Raiders. The Rams have given their blessing. Apparently, Stafford and the Raiders have come to an agreement on what contract he would sign with that team. Now it is up to the Raiders to put something on the table that the Rams consider justifiable compensation to send Stafford out to Las Vegas. Now, again, we talked about this on the show a little bit yesterday. We had Hayden Ask Mario from the BetMGM Network on the show. I asked him about this, and his thought was, it really does make sense for all parties, right? If Stafford and the Rams can't come to an agreement, it makes sense that the Rams would get some compensation as they move towards whoever the next quarterback is. There's also the conversation ongoing that they may not actually add a quarterback if they trade Stafford, that they may very well be comfortable rolling out Jimmy Garoppolo next year. Jimmy G may get his return to the QB1 position. Whatever. Don't care about that. Except for the Rams, in trading Matt Stafford, have been discussed as an open QB1 spot. Aaron Rodgers is out there. Sam Darnold could potentially be out there along with a couple of other quarterbacks. And the Rams were considered a team that could have an open role at QB1. Rodgers has been connected to that job. Sam Darnold has been connected to that job. But we are finding out now that the Rams may very well be comfortable just elevating Jimmy Garoppolo back to a QB1 spot, which means that there's not a hole to be filled there. So we got the same number of quarterbacks on the market, but one less position for one of them to go fill in Los Angeles, California. You know who this is, I think, the worst for? If he genuinely does want to continue playing? Aaron Rodgers. I think this is the worst for Aaron Rodgers. Now, I could be very wrong about this in the long term. I don't think that there is a big market for Aaron Rodgers. I think if you are in the market for an Aaron Rodgers, you had better be on the cusp of Super Bowl ready. There's only a couple of teams that fits. LA was one of them. If LA is indeed interested in going with Jimmy Garoppolo, it tells me two things. Number one, there's really only going to be probably, though we'll see if anything changes, probably one team with a QB1 slot to fill, and that's Minnesota, and that is if they decide not to go with J.J. McCarthy. If they do decide that, all right, even though he didn't play last year, even though he didn't travel last year, even though he was in a boot last year, getting his leg right after the surgery, we feel like J.J. McCarthy's been around long enough that we're going to go ahead and elevate him to QB1. Now there's no Super Bowl teams that have an open QB1 slot. Everybody's got their QB1 at that point if the Rams go Jimmy G. And if the Vikings go J.J. McCarthy, coming off of a surgery and a missed rookie season. The second thing that it tells me is that Sean McVay, I think we all agree, could be wrong, correct me if I am. Sean McVay's a pretty good offensive-minded coach, right? Like, we all agree with that. That's what the Rams have been the last couple of years. The Rams haven't been. I will say this, and I say this is a positive. This is a superlative. The Rams haven't really been, exceptionally talented. They don't have guys that jump off the page. I mean, Puka Nacua, I can put into that conversation as a top-flight wide receiver. Cooper Kupp is just this generation's Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. That's not a shot. He found a niche. He filled that niche. He thrived in that niche. But that's got a lot to do with Sean McVay. It's got a lot to do with the increased accuracy of when Matt Stafford is the QB. If Sean McVay watches Matt Stafford get sent from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and that QB1 role is open, and he decides that he wants to go Jimmy Garoppolo over Aaron Rodgers, that to me says nobody's going to want Aaron Rodgers. That says to me Aaron Rodgers is done. Now, if Vegas ends up not getting Matt Stafford, maybe Tom Brady goes with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe the Raiders go with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that's a landing spot. But I don't think there's a market for Aaron Rodgers right now. This also leaves Sam Darnold out there if the Vikings decide they are ready to move on. Because what I don't think can happen, it could be wrong. What I don't think can happen is that Minnesota's not giving Sam Darnold the contract that he wants. Not the way the year ended. Like I said, if he finished the year like he played the first 14 games of the season, Sam Darnold would have got a $100 million contract and been somebody's unquestioned QB1 coming into this year. But I think in those last 3 weeks in the playoffs, when teams went full throttle after the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold got exposed a little bit. He looked like Jets Sam Darnold, not 14 weeks of Minnesota Vikings Sam Darnold. So if they decide to go with J.J. McCarthy, I mean, unless there's just nowhere to go and he knows it, I don't think Sam Darnold is going to play the role in Minnesota that Kirk Cousins played in Atlanta last year of, look, dude, your time is limited. We know that. We've got the next guy in line. We got the guy we're going to plug into the QB1 spot whenever you're done. And whenever you're done could be week 2, it could be week 10, it could be 2 years down from now. But we've already got the guy. So you're on a tightrope here, bud. You screw up enough times, we got the next guy ready to go in J.J. McCarthy, much like happened to Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. But Atlanta gave Kirk Cousins, what was it, a 4-year, $180 million deal. I mean, they made it worth his time to understand that he was on a very short leash as far as staying QB1. And when it got bad last year, because we talked about this on Wednesday, if you didn't catch it, Terry Fontenot, the GM of the Atlanta Falcons, was asked straight up point blank, Kirk Cousins said after the season, my shoulder, my elbow was messed up. Got knocked around by the Saints in a game. I was never really the same guy, never really healed up, never really fully healthy. And that plagued me, which is why I played poorly until I got benched. One of the media members went to Terry Fontenot, GM of the Falcons, and said, whoa, if that's the case, how come Kirk Cousins never showed up on the injury report? And Fontenot kind of had to BS his way through without saying, well, he said, it was a football decision. Like he was listed after week 10, going into a game, I think it was Denver the next week. He was listed on the injury, and then after that game, we took him off the injury report and said it's a football decision. Now, my take on it was very simple. Either Kirk Cousins flat out straight up lied, or the Atlanta Falcons are real dumb. One or the other. Because, again, your injury report has to be accurate. If it is found out that it was not accurate, you will get hammered by the National Football League. I don't think the Falcons are going to do that, especially when they were already being penalized for tampering with, say it with me, Kirk Cousins the season before. So, what that says to me is the most likely outcome is that Kirk Cousins lied to the Atlanta Falcons and said, no, I'm good, I'm fine, no worries. He lied to him. And then after the season was over, he comes out and he goes, well, I played like crap. I got benched. I'm not getting my spot back. Turns out I had some injury issues.
Yeah,
so he either lied to the
that.
Falcons or he's lying now.
I don't believe that because the doctors would have checked him out. That's their job, right? If players all the time say, oh, no, I'm not hurt. I'm good. They don't believe that. They go and have them checked out. So
Only if he goes to them.
If he was injured, they knew.
Only if he goes to them. If you don't go to the doctor can't diagnose you. I think that's what happened.
Let's see. You're limping. Are you okay? No, coach, I'm good. Yeah, you don't look okay. I want the doctor to check you out.
But Kirk Cousins wasn't limping. It was his shoulder.
You're not throwing well.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And this is why there is one. There is still, even whether it's the Falcons lied or Kirk Cousins lied. Somebody lied. It was either the Falcons or it was Kirk Cousins. Either way.
I saw the documentary. No way that Kirk Cousins lied. It's the Falcons for sure.
It is amazing what even the best amongst us, my Costco bro, Kirk Cousins, will do when it's $180 million of money on the line.
You don't like Atlanta, so you're not giving it a chance that maybe Atlanta's lying about it.
I'm not saying Atlanta's not lying about it.
Okay.
I'm saying one of the two parties is lying. To me, based on what I know and based on how the circumstances played out, it seems more likely, I'm not saying it is definitively true, but it seems more likely that Kirk Cousins did his best to cover up his arm injury so that he wouldn't lose his starting spot, because if he lost his starting spot, they plugged in Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. comes in there and lights it up. Guess what happens with Kirk Cousins? He's cut at the end of the year, and he loses a lot of money.
He didn't exactly light it up.
He didn't light it up, but he played,
he did all right.
He played better than Kirk Cousins was playing before his benching.
Because Kirk Cousins was hurt.
That's fine. Whatever the reason is. He played better than Kirk Cousins played before his benching. He played as well as Kirk Cousins played in the early part of the season before the injury.
What happens if it's found out that Atlanta knew he was hurt?
They will likely lose a buttload of money and draft picks. But this is part of the reason that I'm saying, I don't think Atlanta is throwing away multiple draft picks and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines to protect Kirk Cousins, right? This is why I think it is more likely that Kirk was hurt, but he knew if I say I'm hurt, they're going to bench me and give it to MPJ. And if they give it to MPJ and he balls out, I'm not a starting QB anymore. And the likelihood that I am going to lose my job to a rookie in week 9 and be an injured 40-plus-year-old quarterback and get another deal elsewhere is very unlikely. My bet is that Kirk Cousins straight up lied to the Falcons so that he could keep his job for as long as he could keep his job, and he was hoping he would heal up while he was still playing, and it did not work out. But all that off to the side, the thought here is, if I'm looking at how all of these different scenarios around the league are playing out with each other, if what we're hearing right now is true, Stafford's on his way to Vegas. The Rams have decided that they're, again, if it's true, these are the rumors, and it is our favorite time of year. It is #Lion season. Everybody, for like 10 months a year.
Not Detroit Lions, but Lion as in you ain't telling the truth.
For 10 months a year, the only Lions are Detroit. For these 2 months, everybody in the NFL is a Lion. Okay? Everybody.
Sorry I stole your thunder there.
That's okay.
I didn't know
you saw where I was going.
Yeah.
You walked me there early, but you saw where I was going. That's all that matters. So, to me, if everything we're hearing is true, which it may or may not be, Stafford's going to Vegas. That's a quarterback job off the table. The Rams are happy with Jimmy Garoppolo getting another shot at QB1. That's off the table. Minnesota is likely moving on from Sam Darnold. Part of the reason why Texter just sent a text that said the transition tag for a QB is over $40 million. Darnold's out, McCarthy's in. I agree with that. McCarthy's stepping up on a rookie deal in Minnesota. That's a job off the table. I thought that this was going to be a very chaotic carousel over the last week or so. Turns out, probably not as all. Probably not at all. Probably not at all. What we are what we're likely looking at is 2 moves. Stafford to Vegas, McCarthy elevated to QB1. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to stay where he is and be QB1. I think, honestly, Aaron Rodgers might be out of the league entirely, not by his own choice. I just don't think there's a landing spot for him. Because the other aspect is the only team it would make sense for Aaron Rodgers to join is a Super Bowl team that needs a quarterback. Who is that? Is Minnesota going to pay Aaron Rodgers to step in over J.J. McCarthy for a year, at max, for a year, as opposed to just seeing? If you're them, you just got to see if McCarthy's the future now, right? Like, I can't justify bringing in Aaron Rodgers and the price tag and the baggage he brings for a year. I can't do it.
You can justify all that, and I don't think there's as much baggage as people try to act like. You can justify it if it actually works. If you bring him in and you win the Super Bowl, then everything is justified.
I mean, sure, but I could say that about any move for any team anywhere ever. What I have to justify is that it is the best option to get me there. And I don't think the Aaron Rodgers that's been playing for the New York Jets, even if he brings Devontae with him, which he did to New York and it didn't work, is the guy that I can have when I've built the team I built in Minnesota that Sam Darnold led to a 14-win season. I don't know that I can justify the step backwards that is, as opposed to maybe a step forward, although I don't think J.J. McCarthy's going to be anything. I also thought that about Bo Nix, and I was dead-ass wrong. So if I'm wrong about J.J. McCarthy, too, then it definitely would make no sense to bring in Aaron Rodgers to Minnesota. All right, this is going to be interesting. Next couple of days, especially if Stafford and the Raiders really do have a deal. We'll find out what happens next. All right, it's the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, stepping away for just a minute. Y'all stay right there. Got a few left.
So I don't know why you need it, but worst case scenario, you could just like use tape like Kevin Owens.
Well, so one of the punishments, because my producers don't know Deck and I at all, one of the punishments that we had to go through for our Parlay v Parlay bet was that Deck and I have to do an entire show dressed as Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. And we have to do the intros and outros to every segment as the character that we're portraying. And hilariously, Deck assigned me Scott Hall.
Dude, grease your hair back and
I'm going
find what he wore before NWO.
I just need to find one of his shirts. An outsider shirt, a red and black shirt, a black and white shirt, a Scott Hall shirt, just something. But I'm just going to gel the hair back and do the Mario Jerry curl right down the front.
Why don't you just wear leather? I mean,
Because shockingly, this may shock you, I don't own a leather vest.
I do. I could have brought you one, but, you know. You've actually seen me wear my leather vest.
That's true. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan of State. I have said to you many times before, there is nothing that makes me feel as good as a little personal validation. Okay? A little personal validation makes me feel real good. When Luka Doncic got sent to the LA Lakers, I made a couple of statements that very next day. Number one, I said anybody who thinks that Luka and LeBron can't figure out a way not just to coexist but to thrive together, you don't know ball, brother. You just don't know ball. It's two of the best on planet Earth. They're going to figure it out. And it might be that each of them has to play a little bit different role than what they have played in their careers at large, but they will find a way. Number two, it's going to take some time for them to develop that chemistry. It's going to take probably 15, 20 games or so, and they're going to get into a rhythm. And number three, when they do, the rest of the West better look out, because I genuinely think that the Lakers are a threat out of the West to reach the NBA Finals. We may very well get a Finals with the Lakers and the Celtics in it again. And while ordinarily that would frustrate the crap out of me, because I just hate when the big market teams consistently succeed in the NBA. Give me that small market underdog every single time. I'm kind of down to watch Braun and Luka play together for a title. And I'm certainly down to watch them try to take on the Boston Celtics, a much younger, faster team to do it, with three young guys across the front. Well, I said all that 2 weeks ago. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett do a podcast together. I'm just going to play you a couple of clips real quick. One of the things I said when Luka showed up as a Laker was, watch, Luka's going to become a point guard. He's a shooting guard in Dallas. He's going to be a point guard in LA. Why? Because if he plays the point, LeBron gets to play off ball. If LeBron James is playing off ball basketball, he's your swing guy, which means Luka's the threat with the basketball. A guy that averaged 28 a game is your point guard and can score from that position. And if you double him, if you rotate to him, LeBron James, a man that's putting up 30 burgers as a 40-year-old man, is the second guy off the ball. I don't know how that doesn't terrify you if you're a basketball guy. Hey, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, two really good NBA players. What are your thoughts?
Look at Braun. Braun look like he back in Cleveland or something. Because initially we was like, all right, this move is for the long run. No, this move is for the now. This move is for the now. Initially I was like, how's this going to work? But it's looking like if you keep the ball in Luka's hands and Luka and let LeBron, kind of roam around, run the break, cut, slash, go for lobs, which he's better at Luka than doing, it's looking like they develop some chemistry fast. This is going to be a dangerous team come playoffs, because when I look at the teams up top, you got youngins up there with hardly no experience. Braun looked like he was in Cleveland again. Yeah, so had like 7 dunks. The Lakers are looking scary.
Oh, what's that? Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett? Everything that I said when the trade happened? Thank you very much.
They also notoriously hate LeBron, I think, don't they?
They're not fans.
Yeah.
They're not, they're not like personally fans.
So it's got to be hard for them to say what they're saying is what I mean.
Which again, is what Rob Brown told you when the trade happened. Because I know ball, brother. What's that? You got more? You have an actual reason as to why the dynamic works?
Bron's second. It's going to be hard to match a guy up with your second against that.
If Bron is the second best player. Damn. If Bron is your second best player on the championship team, dog, the West is in trouble, dog.
Gosh. A couple of NBA guys coming around on a take that I had 2 weeks ago. I had one more thought that I gave you when this trade happened. Give me 20 games. I said, give me 20 games. And within 20 games, not like I need all 20. I'm saying within 20 games, this dynamic is going to work. What's that, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett? You have more to say?
Give me 15 games with them. 10 to 12 games, 15 games, something like that, and then watch, bro. He's going to be in better shape by the time he make it back to Dallas.
Yeah.
And then watch that perform. That's the perform. I really wasn't tripping over this. I'm expecting when he go back, when they play, Nate.
They go to Dallas in April.
And it's going to be a meaningful game,
Lord,
too.
That's going to break the internet. That's going to break
because hopefully
Luka back in Dallas.
Going to break the internet. Am I verbally patting myself on the back right now? No. I'm doing it literally. I'm literally patting myself on the back. When this trade happened, I jumped on the air it wasn't the next day because this trade happened at like 12:22 in the morning on a Saturday. But when we came back in the office for the first time, because I believe we were off that Monday too, I came back on Tuesday morning. And I stood in this very spot. And I said into this very microphone, y'all better watch out. Because LeBron and Luka are going to be deadly together. I said in this very spot, in this very microphone, y'all better watch out. Because the LA Lakers are now a threat to not participate in, not to influence, to win the Western Conference. And that's what the text line sounded like. Genuinely. I got a handful of texts that morning that were like, LeBron's too selfish. He won't be able to play with Luka. You kidding me? LeBron James has had to, over the past couple of years, quit playing the way LeBron James is best at playing. LeBron James has had to become a point guard effectively because the best player he's been paired up with was Anthony Davis, who was a 4-5. The next best scoring option this team has had, and we are fans, just to be clear, has been Austin Reeves. Rui Hachimura. These aren't guys that I can say, you're our main distributor now. These are slash and score guys. These are hustle monster scorers. They're not dominant ball handlers. Luka Doncic is. So now LeBron James gets to play LeBron James basketball. Off ball, find a gap, slash into it, get a pass, and dunk on somebody's ass. That's LeBron's game. And Luka frees him up to play that game. When he showed up in LA, and it wasn't just, to be clear, it wasn't just people on the text line that were saying this. I love him to death. But Charles Barkley, the next day, said with his whole chest, these two guys can't coexist. They can't work together. I played the audio clip.
I'm trying to rack my brain. Who has LeBron not been able to play with?
The only couple of times I can think of somebody, which is like the last year he and Kyrie were together.
Yeah, that was.
That's on Kyrie.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Because
the guys
they won a championship together.
Yeah. The guys LeBron hasn't coexisted with, it's because of the guys, not LeBron. Like, you can think and feel however you want to feel about LeBron James. Cool, have at it. The one thing I can't say, at least not off the top of my head, correct me if I'm wrong, drop it in the comments, as Joe Gibbs would say. The one thing I can't say is that LeBron James has ever been a less than stellar teammate. Whether it's a big three in Miami with Bosh and D. Wade, he fit into the role they needed him to play there. Whether it was a solo man in Cleveland, whether it was with Kevin Love as his best option, and that's all due respect to Kevin Love. I'm still a fan.
I was going to say, it sounded disparaging.
I love K-Love. But K-Love was never
LeBron handpicked Kevin Love to come there to play with him.
Sure. Whether it's a dude a team paired him with, whether it's multiple dudes a team paired, whether it's a hand-selected teammate of LeBron James, there is one thing that I respectfully don't think anybody can say about LeBron, and that it's he's a guy who will not fill a role on a team. The Lakers have needed him for the past couple of years to be a on-ball dominant player. That's not his game, but he's done it, and he's done it exceptionally well. Now, that's Luka Doncic. He is a point/scoring guard. He can bring the ball up. If you don't get him at the baseline, he's going to cross half court and do something to you. If you pick him up at the baseline, my man's throwing John Elway bombs down the field for easy buddies on the other end. If you wait till he gets to the three, he's going to dribble drive. Collapse, great. There's Braun on the wing. There's Braun on a slash. There's an oop to Braun. Don't collapse? No worries.
Buddy, deep.
Paint, spin, layup. The dude is an elite scorer with the basketball, and that allows LeBron James to be an elite scorer without the basketball. The day that trade happened, the night that trade happened at 12:15 in the morning, nice job, Nico. The minute that trade happened, I jumped on Twitter. I was like, yo, the West is screwed. Honestly. Like, the Thunder can keep up. Outside of the Thunder in the West, who's keeping up with Luka and LeBron? I said at the time, I said I need 20 games. I need 20 games. I need Luka to get time to get right. I need LeBron to get time to adjust back to his off-ball spot. I need Luka to get adjusted to being a point guard who has LeBron James as his off-ball option. The West is in trouble. And I got Chuck out here saying it can't work. I got a text line full of y'all saying, no, Rob, you're just a Braun glazer. No, I'm not.
And they're all haters.
Many of them are. But there were even not Braun haters that were like, can't do this. Can't take the focus off of him. Guys, I am a LeBron James stan. I love the guy. I like watching him play basketball. I think he's the most dominant basketball player I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, Braun's game is off ball. Luka's game's on ball. What if they just built a game where Luka's on ball, Braun's off ball? Good luck. Told you then it was going to work. Y'all laughed at it. Watch this team. Watch them. Back after this for the final segment of the Rob Brown Show next on the Fan Upstate. Who are we talking about? Jabron Lames is James. What about the whole buy the teams? Are you talking about Dallas? Or did LeBron? I mean, again, like, I'm not saying I'm, like, in on LeBron James as a businessman or individual. I don't care. As a basketball player, the dude's one of the most fun players in my lifetime to watch play. That's all. Like, that's it for me.
Yeah, but Rob, he's not Michael Jordan.
He's not. Oh, dude, that's actually a really funny idea. Oh, I can't wear a Luka Mavs jersey to the game? Bet. I'll wear a Luka Lakers jersey to the game. If I was a Dallas fan, that's a great call, Mad Therapy LLC. If I was a Mavs fan, I would straight up organize a silent protest to turn that stadium gold for the night. Still cheer for the Mavs, but I would turn that stadium gold with Luka Lakers 77 jerseys. If you can afford one, buy one. Fastest linebacker in the draft is UCLA linebacker Kane Madrano with a 4.46. He's
How big is he?
not. I mean, he's big
really
compared to a
linebacker?
normal person, but I looked at the dude and assumed he was a wide receiver. Here,
So
I'll send
maybe
it
a
to you.
safety?
I mean, I don't even know if he's big enough to be an edge rusher. Let me find his stats. He is listed on his NFL draft profile as 6'3", 222. Buddy.
Safety.
Buddy. Yeah, DB at best. 4.46 40 though.
It is.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. The Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the Great One, Lonzo, and you. 844-326-3663. You have about 8 more minutes. That's on me. 8 more minutes to get your votes in right now. What is the superior dip? Queso or guac? If you want to vote.
By your superior attitude that you're having right now, apparently you've cleaned up. So why even bother voting now? Is there any chance that guac could catch up?
Let's see. Let me go pull up the numbers here. As of right now, we are sitting right at 100 votes. We are exactly on 100 votes. As of right now, with 100 votes cast, there are 77 of them for queso. 23 of them for guac. So if guac was to come back and win this, it would obviously be two things. Number one, the most voted on poll in the history of the Rob Brown Show. Number two, it would be the biggest comeback since 28-3. But if you want to try to level the scale, if you want to try to make it respectable for guacamole, 844-326-3663 is the number. 844-326-3663. Text the show and start your text with either guac or queso. Guac, Queso. You must start your text. You can type other things if you want. You must start your text with either guac, Guac, or queso, Queso. What do you want? What do you want? Guac or queso?
I'm just not expecting a comeback here, but that's fine.
Oh, and either you're sitting on a 50 vote deficit with 6 minutes to go.
I'm 3-1 just on this station, so I mean that's fine. That's fine.
I do have to tell you, even as Team Queso, I am stunned by the ass whooping that Queso's putting on guac right now. Like, I genuinely thought it was going to be like a 50-50 split. I was even prepared for like a narrow loss. I was ready for like a 52 to 48% L. I was ready to lose by 6-7 votes somewhere and be like, all right, it's respectable. We're right there, but I'm on the losing edge. I get it. I did not see the absolute drumming that Queso is putting on guac right now.
You know, I know a guy who runs a Mexican restaurant. I should ask him. Which
gets ordered more?
Yeah, which gets ordered more? Because I'd be curious about that, because I think some of this may be just people talking, and that when they go to the actual Mexican restaurant, that's not what they do.
Why would they do that? What benefit?
Because it's your birthday, and
it is not my birthday.
It's your birthday.
You think they're like, Rob Brown turned 40. He's obviously old. Let me toss him a bone here and vote for queso.
There's some depression in there, and they're trying to quell that and make you happier with your life and where you are in it. So I think it's just about trying to help you out.
Okay, queso or guac. 844-326-3663. You have about 4.5 minutes left to lock your vote in. The poll closes at 9:45 on the dot. So you can throw in your vote for queso, Queso. Throw in your vote for guac. Start your text with your choice. And in about, now less than 4 minutes, we will let you know the voice of the Armada. has selected either queso or guac? The answer is queso. It's clearly and definitively selected queso, but we'll see if can guac make a comeback to respectability right now. This is more, are you, like, you're playing for pride if you're guac right now.
All right, according to AI Overview, queso is often ordered more. But they also do point out that guacamole is considered healthier than queso because it contains avocados.
I didn't ask you which one's going to help you live long.
Healthy fats. Guacamole can also increase the fiber content of a meal. So someone of your age, I mean, you go with your cheese, you're going to get clogged up. You go with your guac, you're going to be regular. So, I mean, it's something you got to start factoring in.
Never have I ever sat down at a Mexican joint and been like, better select something healthy for myself here. Better make sure I grab something here that's going to help me feel regular tomorrow. No, I'm sitting down and I'm going, yo, what is the largest structure that you can load to the brim with cheese dip and chorizo and bring to me? Can I get it in a bucket? Is a bucket on the table here?
I go to a Mexican restaurant, I get fajitas. So you got your onions, you got your peppers.
Still do that?
You got your chicken breasts. I mean, and then get some guac, and it's a fairly healthy meal. So you're saying you go there and you go the opposite of that?
No, I'm saying I start with the cheese dip and I get enough of the cheese dip so that everything else I order, I can put cheese dip on.
Wow.
I'm a big give me a well-made chicken quesadilla. Put me some shredded lettuce, some diced tomatoes in there, maybe a little bit of caramelized onion on the inside, and then coat of cheese dip across the top. It's untouchable. It's untouchable. Let's see. Texture said, queso, man, I'd go with a good salsa before I touched guacamole. Texture said, not surprised that queso is beating guac, as most of the fans of this show are crazy-ass Gamecock fans as well.
Okay,
That's just a way to fire off hatred of the
actually,
Gamecocks.
it makes more sense that they'd be picking the dairy product because Clemson is an ag school. I already said that in the first hour. So Stolen Thunder, no, it don't work that way. Ag school, milk, cows. That's why it's more of a Clemson audience picking queso. You tried to pick the fight, Texture. I just destroyed you. Happy Friday.
You know that Frank's hot sauce and their commercial slogan that Eli Manning was popping around for a while? I pour that on everything.
Got it up there just in time.
I pour that on everything. That's me with cheese dip. I pour that on everything.
Do you put it on chocolate?
I don't think I've done cheese and chocolate. I mean, I've done like fondue, cheese and chocolate.
Would you put it on watermelon?
I haven't tried it. Maybe.
Would you put it on an orange? Would you put it on lettuce?
Well, yes.
Okay, I guess you would.
Yes, I will dip bacon in a queso.
Okay,
without a doubt.
All
I will.
right.
There's nothing I like more than grabbing me some chorizo, chopping it up, dicing it up real small, putting it in there. Give me a little queso fundito.
Would you put it on guacamole?
It might make the guacamole better. All right, you were inside the last minute. So if you want to get your vote in here, I'm going to go ahead here in just about 12 seconds, and we'll pull up the final tally. It's not going to be pretty, dude.
You know, it's a bad week for people being right. So every one of you who voted for queso, you're all wrong. And I can't believe that I'm here on a day when usually you guys are good. I mean, sometimes we get a 50-50 split, but there's more of you out there wrong than there are right. And it's hurtful, including in this room. Well, I guess it's 50-50 split in this room, but anyway.
There you go. All right.
But there's more of me than there is of you, which makes me more right.
Let's get our tally here. At the finish line, we ended up with 127 votes. We had a little spell there with a good number of you getting a vote in at the buzzer. At the buzzer, 127 votes, 94 of them for queso. That is the single most dominant performance in a Rob Brown Show text poll question of the day in the history of Rob Brown Show text poll questions of the day. That is the most dominant landslide victory in the history of this game. That's remarkable. That's a flat-out whooping with a capital on the front.
And more proof that food takes gets more play than anything.
anything.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. T-Swizzle popped in at the buzzer. He said, queso's real good, but that fresh avocado they bring to the table, that's where it's at. Again, I like guac. This is not an anti-guac take. It is a pro-queso take.
Me and you need to go to lunch at the place that I'm talking about, where they bring out the whole it's a moving cart, and they make the queso, right in front of you. And they'll mash it up and everything, and you say, hey, could put a little of that in there, and they'll do that, and it's fresh and it's right on the thing. You don't know how long that queso's been back there. The guac, man, I'm telling you, it would change your mind.
And yet, queso with the landslide.
You're right. We wouldn't go out to lunch together. It's always awkward when we do.
Landslide.
We don't have anything to talk about because we've already talked about everything on the air.
That's also true.
And then in the office, so we just go somewhere and eat. And if someone just walking by, it looks really awkward because we've already talked about everything.
We do a pizza redemption lunch at some point though. Got a pizza redemption lunch coming up soon. We got to get that on the books.
Okay.
That's been haunting me ever since. So we'll see how that goes. All right. What else we got? What didn't we get to today? So we got some combine stuff in earlier. We got some basketball in earlier.
So how much combine are you going to try to get in
today?
All weekend. All weekend.
Oh, as much as I can.
Yeah.
Much as I can. I told you, I said this earlier and I meant it. The combine to me, there's 4. Somebody brought up and added another one. There's 4 dates on the NFL calendar that matter. The Super Bowl, obviously. But with the Super Bowl, there's only 2 teams who have a chance. The other 30 are watching for entertainment purposes only. The Combine and the Draft. Those 2 are kind of tied to each other. They're individual events. They're tied to each other. But the reason, the 4th one, by the way, before I get into the Combine and the Draft, why they matter, the 4th one is Madden release day. If you're a gamer, if you're a Madden guy like me, like us, we are one. Madden drop day is a big day. That's it. It's like, don't call me, don't text me, don't bother me. If you want to talk to me, fire up Madden and jump on the group play and we're in. But otherwise, don't bother me. The Draft and the Combine are great for everyone. Why? Because we all get a little optimism, a little hope for the day. We all get a little optimism out of the draft and the combine. You watch the combine, you're watching dudes out there in their short shorts, in their shirts, working out, running the 40, hitting the cone drill, catching the football, whatever. You look, you learn, and you go, all right, if we nail this draft, if my GM stops being bad at his job, Mickey Loomis, and we nail this draft, we got a real shot this year. We're close. We're right there. We're on the edge. We're like, we just got to do like Philly, nail 2 drafts, and we're going to be a dominant franchise for a long time. And you have that, Mark, for the next month and a half. The difference in that in the draft is on draft day, you wake up more excited than you do for the combine, but let's be real. About half the league's fans are going to end draft day 2 and be like, we suck. Why are we doing this again? I will be one of those fans.
All those GMs out there, including you.
Correct. And by the way, maybe you're wrong. Maybe there's a little enthusiasm. Maybe you get a Howie Roseman who kills the draft and you don't know he killed the draft until after the boys show up, put on pads, and start dominating. But
I've never been disappointed in a Kansas City draft.
Yeah, but you trust the organization.
I do.
You should. You've been to 4 out of 5. You've won 2 or 3 of them. Of course you feel good. I'm a Saints fan. I don't trust my team to walk my dog. We suck.
And still yet, they're still your team.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
Why do I do this to myself?
I don't know, but you do. All right.
Sports!
The first thing that's Xing, that's why we're here, sports. The first thing that's Xing is Becky Lynch.
For the record, before I say this, I don't know that I agree or disagree with it. I don't know if this is even why it's trending, but yesterday
it is.
Somebody put out
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated put out their power rankings all time of women's professional wrestlers, and the man, Becky Lynch, was number 1 on that list. Now, I do think this is a generational thing because I'm going to tell you right now.
A lot of people unhappy about it, by the way.
A lot of people unhappy about it. I think it's a generational thing because I'm going to tell you right now. To me, it's Lita, and it's nobody but Lita. Lita, Trish Stratus, both towards the top of the list. But I don't have an issue with Becky Lynch being number 1. I don't agree with it, but I don't have an issue, and I'll tell you why. I think Becky Lynch was probably the first true, legitimate female crossover star. She started showing up on TV and in movies and other stuff. She got people interested outside of wrestling in what Becky Lynch was doing. And on top of that, the bloody nose after she took the shot from Nia Jax that led to the creation of the man character was one of the most goes hard moments in pro wrestling.
Yeah, the Queen is always going to be the best of all time until someone comes along and does more and does better than what she's done. And Charlotte Flair she's the pinnacle. She is who you're shooting for. And there may be a couple out there that may have a chance to reach the heights that Charlotte Flair has reached. Becky Lynch has not, will not, and is not even wrestling right now.
Nepo baby.
Although I do believe that she signed a contract recently.
If her name wasn't Flair, she wouldn't be anywhere near where she is.
Whatever, dude. All right, the next thing that's...
Give me the Irish lass kicker.
She was better when she was that. The next thing that's Xing is Shrek.
Okay, so we're getting a Shrek 5. I mean this with all genuine sincerity. Has there been a movie franchise, with the exception of James Bond, has there been a movie franchise that has gone 5 installments and been consistently as good as Shrek? I don't think there has.
Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
See,
That's
I don't even agree with
subjective.
That, because I
to
think
me,
those movies started getting, and I've only watched like parts of them, I thought those movies got progressively more campy. And campy's fine in horror. Campy's fine. Shrek has been consistently good movies. Anyway, it trended because they announced Shrek 5.
Mission
and on top of that,
Impossible.
I love Mission Impossible. Shrek holds up as like quality, heartfelt, family fun entertainment. And yesterday, Zendaya got announced as playing the role of Shrek and Shrek's daughter in Shrek 5.
It's Fiona, you're trying.
Yes, I was trying to get to Cameron Diaz in ogre form's name.
You know.
Also, if there's ever been a better bad guy than Lord Farquaad, I don't know who it is.
I was wondering if you were going to say it. I definitely wasn't going to risk it myself.
Goat bad guy.
All right, the next thing that's actually, I am looking forward to Shrek 5.
Eat my gumdrops.
Michael Myers has dropped off so much comedy-wise, but he's still hitting it with Shrek, and it's probably because
I don't agree with that. Do agree on Shrek.
What's the last thing you've seen him in?
I don't know that he's been doing much outside of like
TV
appearances. Okay, dropped off in terms of the radar. I'm good
no,
with that.
he's been in stuff and it hasn't been good. But Shrek is always good, and I think it's because he no longer. He doesn't do the writing for it. I could be wrong with that too. The next thing it's excellent
stand for this Michael Myers slander.
Is whatever. He used to be funny.
I am verklempt.
That was not good at all. That was stale. All right, Myles Garrett is the next person.
Myles Garrett will. It's a weird spot up there for the Cleveland Browns right now because Myles Garrett has requested a trade. The Cleveland Browns have said, "Yeah, no, we're not trading you. You got 2 years under contract. You're going to be a Brown or you're going to be nothing." And Myles Garrett has then returned to the Browns and said, "The option for me to sign an extension with you is no." Just no. One source described the door as not just being shut, but being, and I quote, slammed shut on an extension with the Cleveland Browns. So now we just find out, does Myles Garrett sit out the next couple of years? Does he play under protest? Or, as I think will happen, because it is smokescreen season, it is #Lions season, does somebody call Cleveland with an offer they can't refuse?
Well, if it will help them with cap space, probably.
Absolutely, would help him with cap space.
It's like, hey, we'll give you Myles Garrett.
But you got to take Deshaun,
You got to take Deshaun Watson also.
Here's our trade.
How bad do you want Myles Garrett?
Here's our trade. You get Myles Garrett and Deshaun Watson. That's it. That's the trade. You just have to, you can have him, but you got to take him. But we don't want anything back. Just take him. And by the way, no one would take that. Still no one would take that.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, not at all. All right, and finally the last thing that's Xing is Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards got ejected last night, took his 13th tackle. I'm going to tell you this. I really like Anthony Edwards, the baller. Like when he's got the basketball and he's playing, he's one of the best in the game. He kind of seems like a little bit of a punk ass.
He's going to be suspended because of
13 techs.
Yeah.
13 techs. My man, you're like, you need it. I think we need to chip in and go GoFundMe for a therapist. Yeah, we're getting close. He hadn't kicked anybody in the nards yet that I'm aware of, but I got to imagine it's coming down the pipe at some point soon.
Is he make Draymond Green look nice? I don't know.
I don't know. Draymond did stomp on a dude's chest one time, so I don't know.
Actually, I think that was LeBron's chest.
No, it wasn't Braun. It was, I don't remember who it was. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for us. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Monday to do it all over again, but better, right here and only on The Rob Brown Show and The Fan Upstate. Goodbye.
Haters, man.
Dermot is a wrestling heel. IRL, as the kids say. And 84-year-old Joe Gibbs says.
Slay.
Slay.
I'm just going to randomly say that throughout the day for no reason.
Slay. Plenty of reasons.
It's now going to be my nervous tick. Slay.
Slay. Ooh, the Spartanburgers just posted pictures of their stadium coming together.
Ooh, cool.
Oh. Okay, hang on. I think this is worth showing. I'm going to show you guys what I like this a lot. Look at that beaut.
Birdie.
Look at that absolute beaut. Can I zoom in on this?
I like the color, too.
I can't zoom in on the picture. I can just make the icons big as hell, apparently.
Make it a single screen. Can you make that the single screen? I have to make sure that I'm on screen behind it for the sound to work, but you should be able to go single screen.
That's a beaut, buddy.
That is nice.
That's a beaut. That's classic clean.
I don't know, you get with the font on the Spartanburg?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
50s diner style for the burgers.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, 50s diner style over the luxury boxes. That's gorgeous, dude. Well done burgers. That's
Wonder if we spend any time up in the box up in there, what kind of food they're gonna have. I'm just curious.
That's absolutely gorgeous. I love that. All right, kids, that's it. I'm gonna go have brunch with my mom before she flies the coop and heads back to the FLA. So I'm out of here. Thank you guys for being here. You're all amazing. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to get famous. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Don't drink or drive. I'll punch you in the face. Goodbye.
Slay.